as I understand it, that's the topic. I would really like to hear what you were sniping about, Kissy Cat. What was the deal? What was the position that you had a problem with, and kind of get the ball rolling here.
Well, I think my main contention was that there's a singular blame, like it's either women or men. To me, it's a like bimodal issue.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I agree with that.
What was the claim that was being made? Because I don't remember that from the other night, but maybe
I think the specific claim that like got me all riled up was someone was talking about, women deciding, and actually it was Abe, because I was sniping at Abe on this one. Look at that face.
Wait, what are you talking about? What did I say?
I'm the one in trouble.
No, well, he was just like telling a story of a friend that went through a divorce because the wife supposedly, and if I'm getting it wrong, Abe, let me know. She just decided she wasn't happy and wanted to go be happy and find herself, and that was kind of
I found myself at the bottom of a bag of Cheetos.
Cheetos are fun. Were they the fire Cheetos?
So
no, I don't like the fire Cheetos. That's lame.
I don't remember this story, stuff. But I can't wait to hear it again.
Fire Cheetos. Do you remember what I'm talking about, Abe?
Yeah. Yeah. It was just well, I think there's multiple, but just there's multiple occasions of relationships that are going fairly fine, and then out of nowhere they meet somebody on YouTube, or not YouTube, on Facebook or wherever, and they see all this adventure going on and start communicating in the back channels with some other person, and then the next thing you know, they're like, oh, you could come out and do this trip with me, and then the next thing you know, that wife has left her husband to go do the traveling, and then it doesn't even last with the person they've left their spouse for, and it's like, that was a grass is always greener on the other side event, and it didn't lead to anything. You left your marriage and your relationship to go have fun and got nothing for it.
But I thought this was in regards to dating, though, or women to blame for poor dating.
Okay. So that was my understanding, because that was a topic I was given. I wrote it down.
But we can save that. We can put a pin in because we can move along.
We can get to well, I mean, I've even seen that in dating.
Can I offer a claim?
Yeah,
and maybe we can dive right in. I don't think it's necessarily people to blame in this aspect of it's just girls, it's just guys. I actually have the belief that it's the tools that we are using to get through the dating market. For instance, I opened up a Tinder, and I think I was a Bumble or something, and I thought, okay, let's try this. And I got my profile up and I, started my swipes and whatever. And then it actually became so overwhelming. Like you'd get 50 different messages a day. And it's like, ugh. Then you start weeding them out just based off of simple things like, oh, that was a dumb question, I'm not even gonna respond, or maybe this, maybe, and then it gets to a point, it just becomes overwhelming. I think I lasted 2 or 3 weeks of having the app before I was like, this is obnoxious. I hate it. I don't even want to do this. Yeah. So that speaks to the tools we are using to date they're not configured in a way for success for anyone. It's set up for failure, because think about all the guys that did message me. I'm sure they were all great and had awesome potential to be a suitor, but because I was so overwhelmed, I didn't even feel like responding. And then also with the casual dating market and all of these other things, Tinder is literally Uber with dicks. That's all it becomes at this point. And that's how people treat it. And it's set up to make us all fail. And so I'll leave you with that.
Yeah. No, actual relationships definitely going to cultivate them, they take work. And I say that all the time when people pop into chat and they're like, I wish I had more friends, or I wish I had a boyfriend. It's like those things take effort to go out and curate. And when we take that out, the effort part, and it's just accessibility, then yeah, of course you're going to start looking at like superficial things. I'm like kind of in the same boat. And I think there's like studies coming out that like Tinder and Bumble, it's like a dying market. They're spending like millions on advertising trying to get young people back on dating apps. But it seems it's kind of a collective thought that people are just disenfranchised with it, like entirely, as far as
Yeah,
that goes.
I don't necessarily disagree. I think like I have a different take on this, and I think there's definitely a higher like a higher person.
When was the
for
last time
people
you dated,
that have-
Cleaner?
When's the
Like,
last time I
you
did
go
what?
to the cemetery to find a date, or how's this
The
work?
bingo.
Whoa! Wow!
Excuse me,
Lord.
Miss Always Rosy Cheeks for some reason. I'm actually only 45 years old. My wife passed away two and some odd years ago, so I have actually recently here this past year been on the dating market.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
as much as people can say, but you know, and that's a good thing. I have a unique perspective. I have the 40s perspective of the dating market, which is different from the kids. You know, the
Sure.
20s guys and girls. You know, I have the 40s perspective of it. But I think you touched on something that's important, which is that yeah, the tools that are out there aren't necessarily the best for us to be able to meet each other. I think some of it you also touched on with the tediousness of these tools. The tediousness of going through these applications is different for males and females. Obviously, like for men, every profile we go through, we have to try and think up some kind of unique response or unique message to send them, some question that'll cue their interest or something like that. And if we do this 50 times in a day, we may get a hit like once a week. So after 350 times we've gone through and tried to read a woman's profile, spent 2 or 3 hours going through these profiles, we might get one hit in a week, maybe more than that, but generally not too many hits. Whereas for women, the tedium is they have to go through and try and figure out, okay, is this guy for real with this question? Is this, and so I do understand that. However, I think there's something bigger that's at play to all of this right now. And I really think it has to do with keeping us at odds against each other on some form, on some format. I do think it is a higher I would even call it like the shadow elite, so to speak. The guys in the background that are kind of running big tech and all these other companies. I think they have a purpose involved in that, and I think these tech companies kind of get involved in it, and they go, "Well, how many clicks can we get if we get this guy to spend money?" Because guys have to spend money to send chicks more than one message or two messages or whatnot. Chicks don't always have to spend money to do this, but guys do, and so they make a lot of money off of the men who
This is going
want
to
to date someone.
TPS, so give it 1 second.
Sure.
Vibe donated $10. Super chat. How did we fall from the virtue of the 50s dating scene to the degeneracy of the app-driven mess we call dating in 2025?
So I'll read it just for the panel because the panel doesn't get to hear the TTS. How did we fall from the virtue of the 50s dating scene to the degeneracy of the app-driven mess we call dating in 2025? Well, that's easy enough. It's good advertising, good marketing, right? And I think that there's a disconnect these days between how how people date, depending on obviously what where they're trying to date versus what the reality's been for the last few years. I think people are moving away from dating apps. Matter of fact,
do you know why a lot of for instance, you go into a sub shop, right? A Jersey Mike's, for instance, great place, love their sandwiches. You go in there, you have literally only 10 options in front of you to choose from, because if they had a whole bunch of them, you would take longer to decide. You'd be a hot mess, and it's number like 3 on the list. It's like more financially stupid, but the fewer options you have available, the easier it is to choose. If I have a plate of 10 cookies, I'm going to take longer. If you say I can only have 1 cookie, I'm going to take a really long time. I'm going to count which one has the most chocolate chips in it, and I'm going to figure out which one exactly is like the best of those 10. If you have a plate of 2 cookies, I'm probably just gonna be like, okay, pick one, call it a day. Because at that point, I don't have that many options. it's easier for me to choose. So the dating apps are an overwhelming sense of options, and it gives you kind of like that false concept of like, oh wow, I have all these options. But realistically speaking, it's actually the downfall of dating because you have too many options to even know where to start on talking.
No,
Well,
as,
and
as
that's
Kat said,
from
Hold on,
females'
give
point
me
of
one
view,
sec,
though.
guys. I really want to address this because I think this is important as well. But I think the data is starting to show, and somebody can correct me from Chad if I'm wrong. I'm sure somebody's got it right at hand. But it seems like people are moving away from dating apps because the problem is that, yes, guys are getting tired of paying to get rejected over and over and over again. They have to pay to send the message. They have to pay to do whatever. And they're getting tired of that nonsense. And of course, the girls are like, all I meet are fuck boys, and I don't want to meet fuck boys anymore. And so it also seems like that for the most part, people are now moving away from the dating apps themselves. But what is because you're going to meet in person eventually anyway. So why not just meet in person? But then now we have another problem in that how do people even talk to each other? I literally know people that would rather send me a text than call me. They would rather they don't want to pick up the phone and have a verbal communication. They'd rather just text back and forth for 3 hours. And I'm like, that's dumb. Let's take a 5-minute phone call and get this over with. When we have all of these kind of new, the technology driven, the spaces we're in driven. When we have all these factors, where does dating kind of slide in there? I mean, and actually happen, right? So I'm really curious. What do you guys think?
Well, yeah, I'm like, just to like finish touching on what they were saying too. Yeah, of course, it's going to be a business model. If every single person got on there and instantly got matched with their perfect person, they wouldn't make any money, right? So it's just kind of a moot point. And yeah, Ryan pointed out in my chat or Kai pointed out that yeah, a MILF might have more options, and so yeah, it's like a failing business model, right? People are going to realize that eventually. But as far as like real life interactions, I think you guys are not gonna like this. It's gonna be like the liberal answer of it. But I think with the state of like economics and stuff, most people don't have time to go out and date. People are working, they have hobbies, they go home. Like, I don't have fucking money to go like out to dinner, like go do whatever the fuck like you want to do. And you should be prepared to pay half the bill, even if normally you don't. Like, a lot of people think it's more of like a not just a time investment, but a financial investment too to date. And a lot of guys just don't got it like that right now in a failing fucking economy.
And I think especially if you're meeting someone online, though, for a first date meetup from an online, you've never met the person before, go just get a coffee or just grab a drink. It's $10, 20 at the most. Like you're pushing it if you're spending, $20 or more. But you don't know that person. You don't need to invest in them yet. I wouldn't invest in somebody I haven't even met yet. I don't know you. Yeah. I have no idea who you are.
Fuck that. If I'm going to go out with a chick, I'm going to take her to a Mexican restaurant because I've got a handful of them that are fucking awesome here in Houston that I love.
Well, that's great if you already know them, right? First date meetup.
I don't know them.
I do love queso.
My God. Well, you also are in your 40s. You probably have more money to spend. So, but for the average young 20-year-old college kid, whatever, dating, they don't have that extra.
Hold on a minute. Let me read this, and then I got to respond back to that. But I got to read this first. $5 from Rude Mud Crab. It is a $5 Australian. We take fake money here too. Men's lack of self-control is what's given women all the power of selection. Aren't us men meant to lead? Be brothers. Yes, I agree with that. And now right behind that, we have a TTS coming in. So give me 1 second.
Agrolepolis donated $10. Super chat. Let's get to the real arguments and issues, and move past the crap talking points. It's easy to point the finger, but the problem isn't just technology and dating apps. And who's breathing?
Right, and that's actually exactly where it's about to go. So look, Kel, I call Cap. Women still go out in droves. They go get Starbucks every morning, and they're going to get White Claws every night. So Cap, bullshit. They're still going out. They're still doing things. The difference is it's just a group of women. It's the same thing with dudes. Dudes are still going out bowling. They're still going out, slinging back brewskis in the bar. The problem is that they're not taking the time to even attempt to meet each other. And the question is why? Why is that? Is it because dating apps suck? Sure, absolutely. But now we see dating apps are falling off. So people are trying to meet in person more. So if we're going to say that, then why are people, what is the disconnect between people who actually want to date? Now I think that we should just exclude the people who are just like, I just don't want to be with anybody right now, but always end up with somebody, and just kind of focus on what's the deal? Why is there such a problem?
Okay,
I think there's a concerted effort. Actually, I think that you have
Okay.
multiple movements all over the place pushing for the downfall of the nuclear family, and if you can keep people from forming those families, you destroy the nuclear family in this country.
Well, and I think maybe from the like Black Ops or Shadow Ops point of view, from the shadow elite that's up there at the top that have all the money and all the control over the world, they're probably looking at it from that point of view. But from the people who are like the tech conglomerates, what they're looking at is just the ad revenue. And so I think if we take away their tools of control, we will see that all of us will be able to benefit, like all of us peons that they would call peons, right? The ants, the people that could step and squash, right? Like I think that if we took away their ad revenue, made it illegal for all companies everywhere to collect ad revenue, we would actually be able to see a little bit of a change in this metric. Like if they aren't able to solicit us for funds for meeting someone, then they're not going to make any money off of it. So the altruism of the dating app will be someone who actually cares about people dating, and not someone who cares about the ad revenue or the money they can make off of it.
Yeah, but companies got to make money. This is going to sound retarded, but I genuinely really think that, and I've been thinking more and more about this lately, that COVID and like that whole time period like cosmically, intrinsically changed the way that we like interact with each other. Like people just lost all of their social ability. If you were working through it, you might have had a different experience, and I feel like that's why some people were maybe immune to it. But there were genuinely people that for like 6 months to a year didn't work, didn't leave their house, like didn't do anything. And I don't know how big of the
I
population
partially
is.
agree.
Yeah,
I
in
partially agree
California,
with you.
The freeways were empty during
Yeah,
COVID.
I can see that.
What happened is it changed behavior of people, and because of that, habits were set into place that are not healthy habits for building new relationships and getting to know people. And I think that people stuck to those new habits and they didn't go back to behaving the way they did prior.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it changed like our expectations of ourselves. We're like, where's our fucking stimulus? Like people are lazy. It's a effort epidemic, not a loneliness epidemic.
I don't even know if it changed expectations, Kel. I think it really changed habits, and then like the expectations that we had, people weren't able to meet because we had the same expectations but different habits coming out of C19. But also, when you say companies got to make money, like I've made 14 apps on the App Store, and I've made a ton of money from those apps, and like they took me all of like I don't know, maybe a week to a month each to make. So when you say
but we can collectively realize it's
money,
a predatory business model. It's a predatory business model. Boom.
I had to
Answer
spend
solved.
nothing to make them.
Right, that's great. And I
they
wish
were
we were
easy to
all I
make.
wish Tinder owners were as altruistic as you. But when they saw how
Yeah,
much money they
I'm
could
just
make on
saying-
exploiting people's
But time
loneliness.
is money.
I'm
as
just
well.
saying that's the thing though, right? I don't want the exploitive mind to be in charge of dating who's getting relationships and who's not. I want
agree.
the altruistic mind to be in charge of that. So someone like me who's just like, hey, I think this would be a cool app for kids to have, and I'll sell it for like 50 cents or $1 on the Play Store, right? Like
That's why
I do
people are
that,
leaving dating
and
apps because they
it's
realize
cool
they're
kids
preying on them.
kids
I
can
think-
play it.
Guys, I
That's
think the
easy.
tools.
So I think that we would see a lot more of that and a lot less of the overpriced and super ad soaked and all this other
Just
crap.
like big
You
big
would
pharma.
lose a lot of.
They see how many people they can
Well,
help.
right,
and so they
yeah.
put the profits aside. Like, no, that's not
Yeah,
how it works.
and you don't see a whole lot of the small pharma companies coming up because they are like a lot of them are more altruistic. They're like, hey, I really care about trying to heal somebody, but big pharma comes along and goes, bam, you're dead.
Yeah.
Same thing. Yeah, I agree.
You think the tools are the greatest issue, though?
I don't.
don't think the
I
tools-
thought that was a fascinating discussion, but I don't think the tools are the issue.
I don't.
Like I said originally, I think the issue is another metric to keep us all at odds with each other rather than uniting. That's what this whole thing is about. Everything that's going on in society right now that we've seen over the past 15 to 20 years, the shift that we have globally as a race, all of humanity. We are at odds with each other.
Let me
more
read
than
this
we ever
super chat. Then there's a snipe from the chat that makes a lot of sense. $4.99 from Glare 1%er. The expectations changed with cultural shifts to boss babes. And if the guy doesn't have money to spend lavishly on women, they ain't having it. I agree, but there's also that's been a thing for a long time. I don't know that we can really home in on that. But I do think that Mullet Baby hits it hard here. Most people used to meet at their work, but not with Me Too. In the current environment of single men will avoid seeking females because it could turn into an HR issue, job loss, legal BS. And we have to, I've said this lately a lot. I think that if there are 35-year-old men out or 30-year-old men out there, even 28-year-old men out there that can't get laid, that can't find a woman, that can't date effectively, I can't help you, brother. I can't help you. I'm sorry. And I don't care anymore. I'm way more focused on our youth. I want to teach our young men what good values are, what they need to look for in a woman that they want to have as a wife. I want them to value marriage. I want them to value those things. And I could care less about the people that are out there right now. Honestly, I actually, I'm sorry, Kel, but those are the men that you're going to be dating, and I apologize for their shortcomings, but things will.
Paul and Sarah, you're single too right now, aren't you?
Sorry.
Appreciate you wishing the worst for me.
Not the worst. I'm just surprised. I'm sorry. I just think that the current crop of men out there is.
There's some really good
what
ones
about
out
Kissy
there.
Cat? What about Kissy Cat? We got three ladies on the panel tonight.
No, I mean, I don't know. I haven't really had any complaints. I've just had a few spaces where I can't align with them, right?
Yeah.
But it does I wouldn't say that they're douchebags either. I mean, they've all been great guys. I really didn't have any major issues, It's just alignment.
I've had it kind of on the other side.
Alignment and effort.
I've actually seen it on the other side a little different. And I mean, I get that between guys and girls, the metric is a little different. Because you'll go through, and you're a smart lady. I've talked to you a number of times. I know you're a smart lady, Sarah. So I know whenever you go through, you probably look at the comments that people smart as far as your relationships. Okay, don't know me. But when you're looking at the responses you get from guys or the messages you get, you weed through them to try and find somebody that's a match for you or what you're looking for. And fairly enough, us guys will do that too, to some extent. Although I'll admit, after my wife passed, I was thirsty as shit. So we all have that degenerate.
You did things. You did things. Right. I got to acknowledge this raid from Mikey Balls. Thank you very much, brother. I'm glad that you came in. Welcome, Mikey Balls.
Love Mike Ball.
Grid's getting raided by balls.
I'm getting. There's a lot of balls up in here.
Grid, question. Why out of the three single ladies on this panel, why am I the only one destined to date shitty men?
Because you're the youngest.
You're not.
Your bracketing is completely different than their bracketing is.
Date older, Cal. Date older.
This is the problem that's going on right now.
Guys, I got in. $5 from Haul Long Nate. Approaching women in the wild is dangerous. They can be extremely vicious and ruin a guy on social media if she's just not feeling it.
Oh gosh. Ball up.
Maybe, yeah, I agree. I mean, I agree, but at the same time,
Kel, your issue specifically, I can actually explain, and I've seen this because I've seen it in my kids. I've seen it in the women that I've dated, and I've seen it in me and some of the other guys that are out there dating, right? Some of my friends, which I hate to say that they're like this, but there's a couple of them that are. But so what you see is a whole lot of the guys that'll come out and they'll say one thing, but they won't necessarily prove that, because there's a whole lot of social media and commentary that's related to what does she provide me? What does he provide me? Not the question that really matters, which is the self-sacrifice question. The self-sacrifice question is the most important question of all. What do I provide for someone else? That's the question that everyone should be focusing on right now, because if you know what you provide for someone else, like what you have to offer, And that's what you can display like in your dating profile, or when you meet somebody and you're like, well, I do this and this and this. What do you think of that? Does that align with you? You know, and if somebody else says, well, that doesn't really align with me, or they're like, oh, that's fucking awesome. Like, we can go to space with that shit, you know, then, but that's the thing right now. Everyone's so focused on, well, what does she actually do for me? What does he actually do for me? Rather than, what do I provide for whoever it is I'm trying to date?
And where do you think that mindset comes from? Like, where do
That
you
comes
think
from
that
social
shift?
media. That comes
I
from
was
social
gonna
media.
say-
It's a large
Yeah, the
push.
whole
Genuinely
well,
trying
did
to-
you ask her what she brings to the table?
Right.
And I'll
Exactly,
say
Sarah.
this one cracks me up the most because it's so
Disingenuous.
well, and it's contradictory, right?
Mhm.
If you're truly a man who believes in traditional values, you're not asking her to bring anything to the table. You are going to provide that table and display it for her so that she can make the lovely meal and put the kids at the seats and so on and so forth, right?
Very true.
Like
I
she's
like
not
that, Sarah.
bringing, yeah, she's not bringing anything to the table. The table's a fucking joke. I do believe if you're growing together, you're both young, you're growing together. Like, to me, you should look at it as, are we aligned? Are we both ambitious? Do we
Right.
have goals?
Sure.
Is she supporting my goals? Right.
Am I supporting hers?
And
Actually,
am I
Sarah,
supporting her?
Right.
This is something I have a real problem with when people start talking about this, right? Like, you can't see more or less what a man actually brings to the table. A man can look hardworking. He can look like he's got it all together. He can look a certain way and be completely full of shit. What men want in a woman. Sorry.
Just like
muted.
women, just like women.
Well, hold on.
That's
But
fair.
what women want in a woman, we see beauty. We can observe your actions. We can listen to your words and hear what you say, and we can make a lot of determinations. With men, it's, you know, that's one of the things that where I don't get offended when women say, well, what does a man bring to the table? Well, that's a great question. For men, we see what a woman brings to the table. For us to have to ask what a woman brings to the table means that we don't know what we actually want. We as men have failed ourselves, and we don't
Right.
know what we want. I knew when I met my wife that she was wife potential. I literally could tell within probably a couple of 3 hours of spending time with a girl if she had even any hope of being wife potential. And I'm sure I missed some good ones, but I like to think that I kind of figured things out, right? But women can't do that necessarily with a man, because they're not looking at you for your studly arms or your broad back or whatever the fuck. I don't know. I don't know what women want, but
that's why broke guys.
But they need to care about whether you can provide for them. They need to care about whether or not you are a good man or going to, be a provider, if that is the role that you claim to want. So that's why we date, so that we can source all that out. And that's why people fuck up dating all the time now. Dating's not supposed to be, we go out for coffee twice and you move in.
Right.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
that's the most fucked up thing about modern society. I just can't get that shit. Right?
No, I agree with what you're saying for the most part, but I'm just like, you know what's crazy, Grit, is you would actually underestimate how much we can tell by spending 3 hours with a man. Oh, how I can tell like a lot.
I didn't say you couldn't. I'm just saying that there's
Can we
said
test
this-
a theory? For just a second, my chat has a theory right now. Abe, can you mute for like the next 60 seconds and just leave it on mute?
It is Abe.
It is Abe. Abe's the mouth breather. I'm sorry.
It's
His mic's like
Darth Abe.
super sensitive tonight.
It's Darth Abe.
His mic is
Maybe
always been
move
really
your
I'm
mic
not a
to-
mouth breather at all. Obviously,
No.
my mouth
Move
is
your mic
closed.
to where your
His
nose
nose
is
is
really
not
sensitive.
blowing directly on it. Maybe move it, yeah, somewhere.
His
It's like
mic is just
it's
really
just
sensitive.
so
that's all.
piercing in there.
It's Darth
No,
Abe.
I think this is a good point, though, because I think that right now, what guys and girls are doing wrong is they're focusing on what somebody else is doing. And the realisticness of it is, if you're looking for a long-term relationship, you need to build a list of things that you're good at, a list of things that you're not good at. Figure out the things that you want to be good at and all that, right? Build a list of what you would like in a woman. Don't go into
This is going to
any
teach
kind
us,
of...
Cleaner. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Sure.
Angel Borba donated $10. Super chat. Hypergamy has been twisted to be acceptable as provide a lavish life for a woman. There have always been the rich and the peasants. This is a modern cultural problem from a place of luxury.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I
not
agree with
just
that.
true.
Go ahead, Clean. I'm
agree
sorry, I
too.
didn't mean to interrupt you, but I had to do that because
No, sir. No, sir. This is, I mean, it's actually going pretty close to in line with what I'm saying is like, if you're going out dating with the idea of wanting to have a serious long-term relationship with someone, you should already know ahead of time, what is it that I'm looking for in a partner? What is it that I provide? You should know those two questions. You should know the answers to them. If you don't know the answers to those questions, you need to kind of think about it. That way you have a list. And I know that there's chicks and dudes both out there that will say, whoa, a list just makes everything all transactional. And you know what? When we're talking about relationships, everything is about control. Everything is about manipulation. Everything is about transactions. Everything, all of it really, truly is. It's emotional transactions. It's control for the best outcomes. It's manipulating your own bad habits and the habits that your partner has so that you can have the best outcomes. That's what all of everything is about. So when all these things come up and people try and use them as attacks or gotcha moments or whatever, it's all fucking bullshit. All of these things are normal human behaviors. Insecurities are normal. If you have an insecurity, it's because your partner is showing you something that you feel insecure about. It's not because you yourself have a fucking problem. Like, all of these things that people use to attack each other shouldn't be used to attack each other. We should actually sit down and have conversations about them so we can understand what it is that the other person is saying, so we can find out if we're actually a match for that person.
That's well said. And Long Nape comes in with $5 to the table. Question mark. Isn't alignment the table? Actually, I think that's a great way to put that. If you're not in alignment, then what do you really have?
Yeah.
True.
As Sarah said that and actually I remember her talking about that she spent like 30 minutes with this person. I'm assuming it's a guy, and was like, nope.
I love men.
Nope,
Yes, this guy.
Nope, this guy is not it. I will ruin this guy. This guy is not good enough. He's out the door. So, or whatever it was. And I thought that's really perceptive, Sarah.
Alpha,
And
the
these are
first
all,
one,
I think these are all great
donated
relationship
It's
$20.
ETSing, I'm sorry.
Super chat. The sexual revolution was led by women. That is a historical fact. Before the sexual revolution, there was regulation on dating and mating. After the sexual revolution, there is no regulation on dating.
Alpha, the first one. It's insightful.
It's insightful, but I mean, if men really wanted to fight that, like, what would women have done to stop us? So it's on both sides. Fuck trying to throw blame. That's not going to help anybody.
I think Sarah's chat's having fun with her right now.
I see it. They are.
Because they're all making fun of the fact that I had to be the one to tell Abe, and someone just said Sarah had to be John Wilkes Booth.
I saw that.
Shoot him in the back of the head.
Shots fired at Abe.
That's so
Yeah.
No, and I think that's the
I
way
showed the thing from chat that asked, said, Abe, we can hear you, but no.
I sent my chat over to yours. I said, everybody go over there. Just say it in the chat. Maybe I don't have to be the butthole.
Oh, that's awesome.
all these stuff that we've been talking about,
But back to the dating thing. So
I think that we have great.
Hold on, calm down. Kissy Cat, do you think that people just move too quickly through dating and they just go from like coffee to moving in together too fast? Do you think that's the case?
This is where I melt.
Yeah, I mean, probably some people do and some people don't, but I think some people get a little bit comfortable in that talking stage and sometimes it doesn't progress to more, but then some people are too gung-ho and jump into it really quickly. I'm not really a generalizations person, so I mean, that's kind of two-sided there.
Yeah. No, and I think Cleaner, what you said about, like, I was very well said, but and all of like the preliminaries about weeding out how to look for a good partner, blah blah blah. I think all of these are great criteria for once you find someone. But I think like the people's main gripe is like, I can't even fucking find someone to date. Dating apps aren't working, like all this shit. So it's like, it's great to like weed out a partner, but it's like.
No, I get what you're saying, and I firmly believe if we took away the ad revenue from these companies, if it was illegal for them to gain,
I don't think it's a Tinder problem. What else you got?
No. Yeah, no.
I
I don't think Tinder's the only one. I think there's a large
I don't
number.
think it's a
of them,
dating
but
app
they
problem.
gain-
Well, because I think Tinder is for hooking up, right? Like I've never used dating
I-
apps, but I think
I
that's
don't-
the consensus. That one's for hooking up. So
Yeah, I'm not
they're-
up on
they're
prostitutes.
serving their
right
purpose.
now.
Well, I
if
think
that's the
I think in
fact.
terms of the rushing point, we rush the whole thing, right? The way we view the
Sometimes, yeah.
timeline of relationships at this day and age. Like I said, number one, it's casual dating, right? People's intentions are meant to be like instant gratification. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Need it now. Like, are we doing this or not? Right. But we move from like something as simple as coffee, and then a dinner date, and then a fun date, and then you fuck, right? Like at that point, it's like, oh well,
No.
what do we do next? We fuck. Well, have you ever heard of the 3-date rule, Cleaner? Maybe not.
Yeah,
but,
well, okay, listen, I get what you're saying,
but
Sarah, and I think
that's
really,
I watched
that's
American
hold on,
Pie. I've heard
I'm
of the
not
3-day
done.
rule.
I'm not done yet.
no,
But
I don't
I'm
disagree
not done
with
yet.
you,
I'm not
Sarah.
done
I
yet,
just
but
think that that's like the
I'm
20s.
not done yet, Cleaner.
Talk about our age group.
Ladies
sweetheart.
first.
Talk about our age group.
Ladies first.
Seriously. but essentially the timeline has been shortened because we're at the casual dating world of things, right? To these younger dating groups, essentially it's like, well, what's the next step? What's the next step? And then once
Right.
you get to the serious stuff, then I think suddenly the brakes get put on, right?
Yeah.
Because you haven't, number one, you haven't built the real bond. You haven't really gone through a whole lot, but you're sexually active. You're doing all of these fun things. Everything's happy go lucky. But the minute
Right.
that it's like, oh, okay, well, are we exclusive? And then it's like, hold up,
Yeah.
nobody said anything about that. We're getting the whole timeline backwards and running things different than the way it should be, right?
Mhm.
And
agreed.
because of that, the level of care, the level of seriousness, the level of all of these things just goes out the window, and it's like you're disposable at that point, so it doesn't matter.
Well, and that's why I say, and listen, when I say the ad revenue, I'm not talking about just apps. The thing that a lot of people don't understand is in Hollywood, them portraying men and women in different ways, they get revenue from advertising that. Okay. And it is listed as ad revenue towards their contract fees and what they get. So all of this plays into what we're seeing in our social construction that we've got right here in America, right? And I think this is all over the world. I don't think it's just here in America. I think it's all over the world, but here more than anywhere else because of the capitalism thing. Is that one going to TTS?
No, it's not. But I'll read it if you'll, since you've paused. Why is a guy going to offer full provisioning to a girl who doesn't hold sleepovers for the provider? It's culture. It has become culture, but that wasn't originally the expectation, right? Like it wasn't that you were supposed to be doing full provisioning right out of the gate, right?
Mm-hmm. No,
and no sleepovers right out of the gate.
Yeah, no.
Don't forget that part.
Look, I have 3 girls.
Hold
this
on,
one's going to
if you
TTS.
have, okay.
Oh my God, this
I
retarded.
donated $10. Super chat. I blame it
little
all
bit.
on Jersey Shore and the
I mean, it is
Kardashians and
societal. It's
everything that
societal.
followed. This was preemptive.
Yeah,
No,
I
the
think.
Kardashians are the problem with the dating crisis, guys. We solved it.
Just like
yeah, I don't
just
think it's just the
acceptance
Kardashians.
of.
I like that vibe.
society.
I like that a lot. Abe, you haven't said a lot, man. I'd really like to pull you in on this because I know you're a married man. Obviously,
You're
you've
allowed to
dated
unmute
a little bit,
now.
so I'd like to pull you in on this. What do you got, man?
I'd say that apps are a problem. They just juice up what the already existing problem is. We have a huge culture problem in our country, and if we don't fix the cultural divide, we're never going to fix the dating problem. I think that you have to have like values with the person you intend to build a relationship with. You have to find a way to suss out what those values are. Every place that people meet people are either online or somewhere where your judgment is impaired because of the chemicals you're imbibing. And I think that how are you ever supposed to trust what person you're meeting at a bar? We need to find a way to go out, meet people, assess whether or not their values match our values, and then spend the time building the relationship. And I don't see it. And then you have a whole system of of media and television shows and everything else telling dudes there's nothing worth it. It's not worth it for you to go out there. She'll just take everything you have once you're married, or she's going to get you in trouble when you're dating by me tooing you. And then you've got all the women out there being told you need to drive for self-accomplishment before you ever get into a relationship. Go build a career, go get the degrees, go do these things. And between those two things, you have a complete misalignment, and culture can never catch up.
Let me throw a theory that I've been working on for a little while now. Let me throw this at you, because I know that you've been, you were in the military, and I know you, I mean, obviously they're all your brothers. So I have an observation that right now we have more living veterans than we've had at any period in time in history. We've actually now gotten to the point where fathers have sons that have fought in the same sandbox that they fought in, and no peace has been declared. So this is an interesting time period, right? Now, one of the things that's very common in the military is when the Dear Jody, right? The Jody letters, right? And so do you think that the fact that you've had so much of this go on that and also, there is a subculture in the military of men who just will never get married because girl in every port, right? And so with those two things combined, do you think that there's, because of the sheer numbers that we have now, do you think there's something to that, right? Because when my grandfather came home from World War II, all he wanted to do was get married and raise a family. When these young men are coming back now, all they want to do is buy a Ferrari and fuck bitches, right? And they don't want the wife. They don't want, and they've heard so many of their comrades, get fucked over by the girl back home, that they built these fences, and again, the sheer number of them, right? Like, we're not talking about maybe a couple of thousand, right? We're talking maybe 10, 20, 30,000 dudes that are literally have lived the past 15 years that's scared that some dependopotamus was going to latch onto them, and so they just don't even want a relationship. What do you think about that? Can you give me
I would say, for myself, for the guys that I was in with, there's like two brands. There's the brand who has already lost everything to an ex, and the one that's still married to his wife.
True. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So,
and
not to mention, it's really common to marry too much early in the military. Sorry. No, it's really, really common. I have two friends. One, my friend Alex was divorced by the age of 23 because he decided to marry this girl, because your money like doubles if you're in the military and you marry someone. Like, not necessarily. There's obviously other factors, but you get a lot of benefits.
Yeah.
Oh no, there's a ton of dudes that get married just for that increase.
I get what she's saying. Yeah, it does. You get
so sure, you should be scared of predatory women, but it's plenty of guys make that decision without fully thinking it through because it seems like the obvious one at the time, for tax reasons.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think this is the thing, is like we have different cultures as the age groups go on when we're talking about the social marketplace, right? Like, obviously the guys in the 20s are going to be doing something a little bit different than the guys in their 30s or the guys in their 40s. Like, for me, I've already had my two kids. They're grown up. They're adult. My wife passed. I'm out in the dating market now. I'm very selective. Whereas when I was in my 20s, if you smiled at me and you were a 5 or higher, like, you would get the D. Okay, that's all there is.
Honesty. That's honesty right there.
Hey, look, look, man. I had a really fucked up position when I was in high school. If there was a girl bouncing in my lap and she didn't tell me she had a boyfriend, that wasn't my fault. Like, this is I was a degenerate when I was younger. All right, but this is the thing. It's like when you have this disparity in the 20s. And then in the 30s, and then in the 40s, we're all trying to approach the same dating marketplace, but we each have different selectors, different restrictors, and different metrics for how we're trying to find a partner. The guys in their 20s, they may not be looking for someone to marry. It'll probably be less than 5% of the guys that are actually looking for a long-term relationship. In their 40s, most of us are looking for somebody who wants to be a friends with benefits or a permanent long-term relationship. We're not looking for just
I should
Friday
try to
night
be a
chick.
cougar and go for the 20-year-olds?
I mean, if you're
I
just wanting to
did.
get laid, like, sure. I have no doubt you'd have no problem getting laid, Sarah. I mean, it's
Sarah, anytime I've been on your
all the
panel,
girls in
everyone
this
hits
panel.
me
I
up.
have
They're
no
like, "Who's
doubt.
the MILF?
Like,
Who's the MILF?" I need to
But
get
I-
her number.
what?
I'm like,
I don't-
Liz took a turn.
I don't think sex alone is important, though. I think that sex is
yeah.
something, but if
Yeah.
dating is supposed to be setting us up for marriages, and if everything is centered around a sex-centric one-night stand culture, then that's what you're going to get. You're never going to get marriages.
Right.
You're never going to get relationships.
And
Well,
also,
let
how
me ask Kel. Kel, can I ask you, when you date a man, do you look at the viewpoint of, can I bring him home to my dad or mom?
So I'm definitely not the best example. I have dated a list of degenerate man, and like my first boyfriend made me stop talking to my dad for 2 years. Not made me, but
Oh, shit.
was the cause of us not talking for a while. So I definitely am not the right metric for that. Like maybe I
No,
say
you're the exact person to
Yeah.
be talking to.
like out of vengeance. There's plenty of reasons, but as far as like the selectability that we talked about, right? I'm like, it's
Mhm.
also just perceived selectability, because you can think, oh my god, I have all these options. This guy like who lives in whatever Beverly Hills and stuff like is inviting me to this pool party and like hooking up with me, and then you never hear from him again. So it's like you might think you have all these options, but it's like it's really just like manufactured options, because exactly what you
I
said,
agree.
20-year-old 25 30-year-old guys who have it all like that will fuck any girl above a 5 because they're like whatever, but it's not like because they want to be with you. It's just like a illusion. Like if
Well,
it sounds too good to be
right.
true, girl, it probably is. Like if you're not in the same dating bracket, you know you don't take care of yourself, you know you don't have a good job, good morals, good whatever it is, then this guy, why would this guy want to be with you realistically, you know?
I get
Well,
what you're saying.
and I asked that question because that was in all of my dating, and this is maybe why I've had like good men in terms of dating, you know,
Yeah.
and it just comes down to very specific alignments that I'm like, it's not a match for me. But
You're
because
selective.
I led, well, I'm not selective on my behalf. I'm selective of, is my dad going to give me the third degree lecture, or is my dad going to be like, I like
But
this
that
one,
is on
Sarah?
your behalf. That is
I
on your
yeah.
behalf, though, because
Oh yeah,
you
it's
don't
in
you
my
don't want
best
to deal with.
interest, but
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
utilize that as my vetting, like my frontal vetting, like
Yeah.
immediately.
That's a good
Like
Stand
metric.
by.
for instance, oh god,
Tall Long Nate donated $10 super chat. 20 years ago and 18 years old was viewed as an adult. Now 45 years olds are still trying to find themselves. We're infantilized as a culture.
I think
That
I
is
think a little bit. But what were you saying, Sarah?
That's the most accurate thing that's been said tonight. 100%. Anyway, I'm sorry. Interrupted you, Sarah. Continue. I'm
oh,
sorry.
that's okay. I still don't know
She
why
was
you do the TTS
her
on
dating
the
metrics.
panels. So initially, like for instance, if a guy wears his jeans around his ass, right? Like I immediately, like my foundations with my dad threatening my brothers, like if I ever see your jeans, you know, below your ass, like I'll make you wear suspenders. And so I already know, like, never bring home guy who wears jeans below ass, right? Like
Mhm.
instant turn off, you know. And I think that Kel, in your scenario, like, okay, so there was a guy in Beverly Hills who invited you over to a pool party, right?
No, that was
I
an
think-
example. That was not me. That was not me.
Well,
Yeah.
even as the example, right? And I would view that as, how is he treating me? What's going on, right? And like, would I call my dad right now and be like, "This is what I just did. Aren't you so proud of me?" Right? And that's
Right.
how I always view it as, if I can't call my mom or my dad and be like, "This is what I just did. Aren't you so glad?" Then I don't proceed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And-
Not
and
to
I think
say
that's-
there haven't been
yeah.
a few stupid things I've done. I'm very stupid. I do stupid
Yeah.
shit all the time. But
We
that's
all
kind
do.
of like my vetting for everything with dating.
And I think that's a great metric. And I think we've talked, I'm sure, Grid, and you've had plenty of panels and debates about how we have like a deteriorating family structure in this country, right? I honestly, like my dad, like we live streamed a lot. So like people might have like had the illusion that we've always had a good relationship. We honestly just started talking again like 3 years ago. Like this was my first time spending time with like my stepmom and stuff. So I'm like, and my mom was just completely off the rails, like the end of my high school experience. So it was like my mom liked my boyfriends to the point where after we went to court for like crazy stuff, she was still texting him. Like that was like why I stopped talking to my mom in the first place. Like so I have like a horrible metric. Like And I think your parents like form your like expectations for what you'll tolerate a lot. So as much as I'd like to think that, you know, every young girl could be like, would my dad approve of me bringing this home guy? A lot of young girls, not most, aren't going home for Christmas, aren't planning on, aren't planning on bringing anyone home to meet the family because they've like long disassociated like with their family or whatever. So I think we should come up with a better metric like as society where it's like, I'd have like people in my coworker circle where I'd be like, would Prima like approve of this person if I brought them to dinner?
Your family though is that metric. Like you model what you see from your parents.
But it's not for a lot of people. And if people don't have that, how do they set the right expectations for themselves, right?
Well, now
it
Cal,
takes
we're
time and
solve
effort.
this. You're from now on, any guy you date, you're gonna say, when this guy meets grid 1, dad 1, is dad 1 going to approve? And grid's gonna be a stickler about it. So it better be a good guy. There you go. Problem solved.
My little guy friend is coming to visit on like the 16th or 17th, so we'll have to arrange this so you can.
Wait, I will be in TwitchCon the 16th.
Oh my god! Wait, you got to meet him in person? No.
Yeah, no. There we go. And this will be your standard going forward. Dad 1.
Crazy. That's actually crazy that you get to meet.
I feel like we're all gonna adopt Cal.
I know. I know. Never coming home from DebateCon. I'm just gonna bring all my shit with me.
Hey, Grid, when you meet this guy, if you need to have a little backyard paradise fun with this guy, let me know. I'll fly up there.
You know, it's an interesting thing because when I was a slightly younger man and I was in my business and everything, I used to have to counsel a lot of my employees that were in 19, 20, 21, 22 on this girl is not it. Like, or, hey, you're being a fucking jerk. You need to get your shit straight. And I don't know that, I think that there's a disconnect too in the way that older men talk to younger men about their actions.
Yeah.
And because I got to be honest with you, I look back over my life and I've had so many men call me on my shit over and over and over again. Like, I remember I thought I did a fucking great job and I was fucking proud. And this dude comes over and he looks at it, he shakes his head and he walks away and I'm just fucking dumbfounded, right? And I can't believe that this guy doesn't like my work. And so I went and had somebody else come over and look at it. And I said, what's up here? Why is he doesn't like it? Well, he's like, well, you didn't do this. You didn't do that. You didn't do this. And he just doesn't want to fuck with you because you're too stupid for him to even talk to. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, really? Like, who the fuck says that? And he's like, yeah. He's like,
sounds like my entire childhood.
He's like, you better get it right or you're not going to be here very long. And that was my introduction to that fellow. And I ended up working with him for a long time. And he gave me one of my favorite nicknames ever. And she did have a hard out at 9. So, that one of my favorite mentors was one of the hardest dudes on me ever. Like there was I think the first year I worked there I couldn't do anything right. And I was doing good work. Like, I mean, everybody else was like, yeah, you just have to understand, and but I don't think that men hold other men accountable anymore. I also don't think that women hold other women accountable. It used to be that, my mom used to help when I was very young. My mom used to help single moms. Mm-hmm. or women who were having issues with abusive husbands or boyfriends or whatever, and we would have those women stay with us in our house while they were hiding or whatever until they got situated. And but my mom was while she was certainly kind to them and understood their problems and all of that, there were many nights where I could hear her having serious heart-to-hearts with these women about their actions and how they were comporting themselves and dressing and everything else. And I don't know that women actually call women out for being sluts and whores anymore. They may even praise them. They may pat them on the back. I don't know. So.
See, and I feel like we're just all talking about like these hyper fixated like social media perspectives that you guys have. Like even from the jump, like yeah, where it's like, oh yeah, I should be able to sit my ass at home and have a fucking guy who makes $500,000 a year and everything should be taken care of. Most people don't think like that. You guys are like getting fucking radicalized by social media because like most people don't live their lives like this. If you like,
Sure.
you know.
That's
Well,
actually a really good
to
point. Sorry, go
what
ahead.
you were saying, Grid, for the accountability, I think also there's a level of how far does my care extend, right? So if it were people close to me, family, friends, people within my actual circle of people that I care about, yeah, I'll check the fuck out of you, right? Check, and
Awesome.
put you back in your place. But it's like some like Kel, no offense, like I care about you, but I don't care about you to be like, Kel, you're fucking wrong, yada, 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 right? Unless I'm like modding and actually telling you off on a panel. But like if you told me something about your personal life separately, I might be gentle about it, but I'm also, it's not my place to tell you what to do or that you're wrong or whatever. It's my place to give you my thought, but I'm not going to be an asshole about it because that's not where I belong, right?
It's kind of my job.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's so funny that you say that because I'm like sometimes you need a kick in the nuts. Sometimes you do need a kick in the nuts, even from a stranger. Like I'm sitting there on the bus home from Vegas, and I was like, "Damn, I really fucked up." None of my friends are taking my calls, and Grid One like calls me back, and he's like, "Bro, you need like a handful of things to be a cool person," and kind of did give me the kick in the nuts that I needed. And it's like we don't know each other that well, but I'm like sometimes that kick in the nuts to a stranger when it's like instead of just like patting their ass, it can be very very helpful.
Yeah,
I agree with what you're talking about there, both of you, Sarah and Kel, and even going back to grids to some degree, because I think that a problem that we have in society is that there's not enough of us men that have experience with what should and shouldn't happen, like in a relationship, you know. And I don't mean from our viewpoints, but just to make people safe, to make people be able to find what they want, not necessarily what we want them to find, but what they want, right? Like, we're not espousing good advice anymore because for some reason it seems like a lot of us are scared to do that thing, you know? And for a long time throughout history, good dads, good guys who had already been through the ringer and seen the good of the guys and the bad of the guys, the good of the girls and the bad of the girls, would give younger guys and girls strong foundations. And good moms, in the same respect, good women would give advice to men and women on the good and the bad of men and women as well. But we, for some reason, we veered away from this shit, and we don't give this advice freely like we used to in our little
Well, people
community.
don't go out and cultivate mentors like they used to either.
Right.
They fucking talk to ChatGPT and they're like, "Oh, I figured out all the shit I need." When it's like the best way to learn something is to talk to someone who's been through that shit, you know? Like
That's very
like,
true.
ChatGPT validated my delusions, and now I feel like I can go take on the world. It's like like
it's almost like you undercut the morality of the nation, and the people all suffer for it.
Yeah,
God.
I agree, Abe. I agree.
God. Oh God.
And look, I know that like we're not trying to get into a religious debate or anything like that. And for me personally, I wouldn't take this to religion itself. However, I do think there is a moral prescription that religion gives certain people that can help us find a better life mate, a better life partner, someone who can be there for us throughout our best of days and our worst of days, because we all know we're going to go through really good highs, and at some point the world's going to kick the living fucking shit out of us, and we want someone that's going to have our back through that.
As much as I'd love to, I didn't make a religious claim. I said a moral. Like,
I
you
agree.
shouldn't have tons and tons of sexual partners, and like all the just the and that goes on both sides. I don't think anybody should be like sleeping with 500 people. Like, that's not conducive to good flourishing for that human being.
That's so fun.
I got $5 from Haul Long Nate. Sarah just said women don't need to check society. We're in a global society. It can't be like you do you. I'm gonna
I
have
get what he means.
I don't think I said that though.
Yeah, I don't think
No,
you said that, but
That
I
wasn't
said-
exactly what you said, sir.
That
really
wasn't anywhere near what
exactly.
I said.
It was kind of
I will
close
say- I
though,
will
from
say
a guy's
this.
point of view.
I will say this is that regardless of how well you know someone, right? Like I did not know Kel that well. I just knew that she had had a really rough time in Vegas, and I had warned her to not trust certain people because, well, they're charlatans and they're fakers and all that.
Evil.
True.
They're evil.
They're evil. Okay, and so it took a little bit of my time to show a little bit of care, give some reasonable advice, hopefully. And why wouldn't I do that? And that's actually one of the things that really bugs me about our current level of society. And I'm actually not talking about Kel's generation. They're still learning. I'm really fucking disappointed in the 25 to 45 range where people don't even give a fuck enough to just listen to somebody's issue before they just write them off, right? Or just to actually, go out on a date with somebody and just because you don't click, just because you're not feeling it, that just completely ghost that person, right? You may have made a good friend. You may have missed out on a lifelong friend, or whatever. Or she may have actually a really hot friend.
No. Listen.
I'm kidding about the last part.
If a guy says, well, or a girl says, well, can't we just be friends? The fuck no.
No. I agree. Sarah and I agree on this 100%.
Yeah, you know what? I'll agree with that. I'll take that back.
If they're your friend, you should be married to them.
I don't have any friends, so I don't. I'm weird on. I'm weak on the.
Well,
friend
could
thing.
you imagine trying to date the next person and be like, "Oh yeah, the last date I went on, like we're totally chill, we're friends, we're just not going any further than that."
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I'll take that back. I'll take that back. that back.
That'll create fucked up feelings, and it doesn't matter which side it's on. Whether
that shows you how long I've been out of the dating pool. I don't have any fucking.
And listen to.
But I do think that more people should be. If people have problems, they should be opening to at least listening to them. I guess.
Nate,
I don't know.
What Nate was saying. This is something that a lot of guys get fucked up, and I just want to touch on this because I think it needs to be said because we all keep forgetting for some reason. All right, or at least you guys in the audience keep forgetting. Guys and girls are different. When Sarah says, you do you to a girl, that means something completely different from what guys understand. Guys understand the metric of, dude, don't fuck that chick over. She's a good chick. If you fuck her over, I'm gonna knock your ass out. But girls do something
No, that sounds
different.
like a communication problem. That sounds retarded.
Well, no. That's not a communication problem. That's how guys police guys. No, see, and this is yet again touching on the reference of guys and girls police each other differently, right? Like girls police other girls in a different way. When Sarah's saying, I would tell a girl, well, you know what? Fine, you be you. She would say it in a way that was like letting the other girl know, look, I don't agree with what you're fucking doing, and you shouldn't be doing that shit, but fine, whatever. If you want to be stupid, fucking do that shit. I get that because I've seen my wife do that, Like I saw my wife do that a lot with younger girls. So I get what Sarah means. Guys don't understand this, though, when they see girls saying this. And girls think that guys are extra hostile with each other when we say, we'll fucking knock you out if you hurt her. But the fact is, girls police girls the way they should. Guys police guys the way they should. We need to stop trying to police each other. Let good guys police good guys. Let good girls police good girls. Don't try to comment on how a girl polices another girl if you're a guy. Let her fucking do it. All right? Let her, especially if you know she's a good chick.
That a lot.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, actually, because even though, and I've left a lot of friends in the dust who are shitty people or just are doing things that I'm like, I don't want to be associated with that, because even though guilty by association doesn't always mean you're actually guilty, but it still reflects. I had somebody tell me, like, that's your friend. That's your friend doing this stuff. What should I think about you? Because you approve by being their friend. And I'm like, that's not a bad point. You kind of got me there. Not to say that I always allow, but there are, some friends you have long-term relationships with that you just kind of start accepting dumb shit. to the point where you're like, wait, like, why am I accepting all of this dumb shit? Oh, because we have a friendship history. Like, why does that, why does that trump that?
That's
But
fair.
but overall, I think most of the time, like if there's girls that to me, you're just being stupid or you're being disrespectful or you're just always a drunk tard at the party and I don't want to be around that. Like not to say we all can't have fun, but when you're always doing stuff and you're always having problems and you're always like you're going on a dating rampage or you're calling me and saying, I just fucked a guy in my apartment and my daughters happen to be sleeping in the next room. I just met him on Tinder. He came over. We just started talking an hour ago. I have a fucking problem with that. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to put my seal of approval on it. And eventually, like, you just stop being their friend because to me, that's the only way you can like really let them know, like, you're fucking wrong. And if you're
Yeah.
not going to listen when I say that's fucking wrong, don't do that. Even though I try to be as kind worded as I can, I'm telling you that's fucking wrong to whatever degree. If you
Right.
keep, I like the only way I can do it is to completely disassociate myself from you.
Yeah. And I think that's fair. And I think this is actually a perfect example. What I was saying is like we do things differently. Guys police guys differently than girls police girls. Girls will say to the rest of the world, "Oh, we kind of drifted apart." In reality, the other girl knows that means they fucked the hell up and lost a good friend, right? Like social shaming for guys versus guys and girls
I
versus
don't think
girls
they
is
see
very
it that
different.
way. I don't
Well,
think they see it
sometimes.
that
I mean,
way. They're too
like if
they're
you
too
yeah, maybe.
self-evolved to
Yeah,
even
I get that.
realize it. They
I've
don't
seen that with guys
realize
too.
what I've learned is they don't realize it till everyone's leaving.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I've seen that with guys too, Sarah. You're right. But you get what I'm saying though. In general, is like I'm saying that girl that like you and her are best friends, and she starts doing fuck shit, and you're like, dude, I can't be associated with that. I'm dating a good dude, and I don't want him looking at you thinking I'm gonna be that way, and like you're being horrible to guys. Like, and on the same respect, like guys, when we get into relationships, we don't stick around with Mr. Go fuck everybody he can every night of the week. Like we don't do
True.
that shit because we don't want our wives thinking or our girlfriends thinking we're that way. We want someone around us that represents who we are because we show who we are through our actions. You see what we do and you're like, "Oh, that's a sweet guy and he's hanging out with them all the time and he always says this kind of stuff too and he kind of shows it to me." So I trust that. But if you see me hanging around with a fuck boy and I'm telling you I'm a relationship guy, but this fuck boy's my best friend, you're gonna be like, I don't know, man. I don't know about this guy. He's hanging out with a fuck boy still, you know? So I get what Sarah's saying. We police each other differently. And it's respectable and it should be understood.
I mean, yeah, I agree with that. I think that there's a little bit more to it, though. I think that
Sure.
obviously, it's we've we've looked into many times about how single women do their best, either intentionally or unintentionally. I can't assign motivation, but to break up relationships that their friends are in because they don't want their friend to be in. They want their friend to be their friend and do all of that stuff. Not obviously not all women, but there's seems to be a large portion of them that do that. Kind of the crab in the bucket sort of thing, right? They just
He
can't
he had
let
to
one
say
slip.
crabs. He had to say crabs when we're talking about dating. He had to say
Yeah.
crabs.
Yeah. And so kind of like that, but it happens with dudes as well. And one of the things that I've observed, most of my friends have always been, pretty cool people and mostly relationship bound. But you always have that one friend that is like, why are you even getting in a relationship? There's all these women over here. Let's go talk to these women. Let's go get drunk. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. And those are the dudes that you have to quit hanging out with. And those are the dudes who are probably going to cause more issues for you than you can even imagine.
Mm-hmm.
But they're also the same exact dude who will tell you that the girl you're dating is not someone that you should be with, but they will try and go out with that girl behind your back.
That's
They
true.
will really be making moves on her. as often as they possibly can.
That's true.
So, yeah, something up.
I've seen that too.
Yeah. Abe, where are you at on all this? I mean, you're a young fellow. You're more connected than say Cleaner and I.
What do you mean? I'm 41. Been married 17 years. Got 2 teenage sons. Like, I don't know. I haven't dated in a very long time.
Okay.
Like I said, I
thought you were in your 30s, but that's okay.
I think we have
I'll recalibrate.
I just think we have a morality issue. I think that, and I'm not saying that like, I think that if we raised people to be better, to seek a long-term relationship,
Sure.
and like, it's a whole thing. Like, if you have the red pill telling dudes it's not worth it to be in relationships, and then you have feminism telling people that the nuclear family is bunk. If you have every single movement out there telling every young person not to get into relationships and build families, then all the stuff we're talking about right now is second order to that, because that is their preconditions. All the presuppositions in the minds of the young are going to be those things. And then you add on the tools, and then you add on all this other stuff. And I hear the ladies earlier saying that there's a effort epidemic, and I don't disagree with that. But if you're being told every moment all the time that it isn't even worth it, and even if you do, you're going to get screwed for it, and obviously they're not going to put the effort in, and it's messed up.
Well, I've never had issues with effort. But you know how this was told to me, and not by one, but multiple people I've dated in my entire life. But like, I get doors opened for me, I get chairs pulled out for me. It's kind of been like the par for the course. And quite a few have told me, they're like, because I never had to ask. I never had to say, you better open that door, you better pull out like, I never had to say any of these things. But they tell me you just demand it by how you act, not in a bitch way, but like, I just automatically know by looking at you and what, like, your level of respect and all of these other things, that I know I'm going to have to step up the game. So is it really a lack of men's effort, or is it a lack of women not creating the standard to come through and not creating the space for it? And that's where I think it might be kind of a mesh maybe between the two. But like, if you go out on a first date, and, or let's just say even a third date, and you fuck the guy, like, what else are you expecting? Like, he's not going to go do anything at this point. There's no more stand. He got the cookie. You gave him the cookie too soon, right? And if you just are, always kind of like, not to say play games. I don't want to say play games, because that's not what I'm speaking to. But if you ensure that he has to do the work for you to be responsive, for you to show up, for you to get ready, for you to do all these things, like, if he does thing, then, give a treat. Like, and I don't mean to this Pavlov's spell, but like, it really is that way. And if you set that standard up front, then they're always going to be going above and beyond with intentions of like, I know she'll demand it. I know she wants it, like, because she set that precedence from the get-go.
Okay. All right. So Sarah, so do you think that so I've always believed that no matter how bad someone got, right? I've always believed that no matter how dark they went, there was always a path back. There was always a way that they could change their life in such a way that they could be the person that society would expect them to be, right? I kind of have to believe that, because I was not a good person and I came back, right? And I hope that people take me, as a good man, as much as I can be, because otherwise it means that I failed, right? Because I was pretty dark. And so, do you think when you've got somebody that has been man or woman who has been a degenerate, who's been a you know, a woman of an easy woman or a guy that played around or whatever. Do you think it is really, do you think the majority of people can come back from that and just be a really righteous, good person? Or is it more likely that they can only come so far and that the best they can hope for is like a string of longer term relationships, but never actually be able to have what they would have had they moved in a more traditional manner?
Well, let me ask you this, Grid. Are
Sure.
you the same person that you were when you were 20 years old?
Oh, absolutely not.
Why?
When I was 20 years old, all I really cared about was, if we're being honest about it, when I was 20 years old, all I really cared about was getting through college and getting married and having a life. And then when I was 21, 22, somewhere along in there, I had actually, I guess it was 23. By the time I was 23, I had 2 failed engagements. I had come to the turn. I understood then at that point that I needed to work really, really, really hard to get to where I wanted to be. And so and I literally weighed in my mind the idea of having meaningful relationships with women, or spending my time building my skills, building my knowledge, building my network, doing all the things that it would take to be, in my eyes, successful. And so I made a conscious choice to do that. And so I did not have real, from the time I was about 23, 24, I didn't have a real relationship again until I was 34, 35. And I was absolute degenerate. Absolute 100%. I was
Essentially, the basic answer would be I matured and I went through experiences and learned a lot of lessons along the way.
Sure. Yeah,
Okay,
but I made conscious choices. I guess what I'm saying is, like, so the guys that never really gained that knowledge, right? Or maybe they're just maybe they're women that can't be alone, or they're all literally hop from boyfriend to boyfriend to boyfriend and never have that sense of self-worth. Because what I've observed is it kind of you basically have a small number of people like me that can make that change, and it sticks, and it's real, and it is what it is. And then you have this other larger pool of people who don't put in, maybe they don't put in the effort, maybe they don't put in, put their heart into it, maybe they don't have the morality for it, maybe they don't have the religious backing for it, maybe they don't have whatever is missing, but they're missing key pieces, and so they never come back from being that degenerate fuck boy or fuck girl that just doesn't, that just is never going to be able to have a meaningful relationship, because they're always looking for the better thing, or they're always waiting for the shoe to drop and being told that they're a piece of shit and they're being left or whatever. And so I'm really curious about that, because I think in that terms, I think that there are basically we have a small subset of people who can come back from that and have great, meaningful lives and relationships. I wish it was larger. And then we have a larger subset that will never do it because they've never been taught how to do it. Their culture doesn't lend itself to that. They don't generally have any real concept of God. They don't really have a concept of any kind of religion or higher power, or they don't, whatever it is, right? So I'm really curious. I would love yours and Kel's viewpoint on it, as women, because often what I see is I see women that tend to be like serial cheaters, right? Like once they cheat again, and they cheat again, and they cheat again.
So funny that you say that. I see the same thing with men, and I'm so sorry. I've been
sure.
fucking...
No, I agree. With men are just
yeah, and I think exactly what we said when it comes down to like convenience. I think way more people have like the accessibility, like the ability to hide it than they used to. Like their mistress isn't gonna. And sorry, I tipped over one of my computers and it made them all come crashing down, and then my monitor was.
I wondered what happened. It looked like you threw honestly, I thought that was the best attempted rage quit ever.
Dude, well, I was like, I told my chat because I was like, oh, my computer crashed. No one can even hear me. I'm talking to myself. And then I see Sky and my other monitor because it's like not a connected computer. And Sky's like, no, we can hear you, but you're muted on panel. I was like, well, fuck me, dude. I'm like, that's useless. That's absolutely useless. Yeah.
Rage quit.
Yeah. Rage quit. Exactly.
Rage quit fail, actually.
Just make all the outputs the same. So like when
I tipped the computer over, jackass. I tipped it over. I know how to do it normally. The HDMI cord got pulled out.
Whoops.
Down went the 2011 iMac. Down went the laptop. Down went the monitor.
Oh, that's your problem. You bought an Apple. I'm sorry. Kel, sweetheart, get away from Apple.
Bro, this is something that I got at a garage sale for $30.
This is a great sidebar.
Yeah, this is my first computer, and it was $30 at a garage sale. Yeah, and I streamed from Talk Studio because it's too old to get fucking Chrome. Yeah.
I'll tell you guys a secret. I met Steve Jobs a very long time ago, and I asked him why he went with the little bite missing from.
Bro, did you not hear me? I got it at a garage sale.
Hold on. I'm not attacking you with this. This is just a blurb for people. All right. He said it's not a bite missing; it's hidden from the user. That's his whole theory for creating the Apple software, all of it. It's not a byte that's missing. It's a byte that's hidden from the user. Why are you using Apple?
Convenience.
Yeah.
iCloud.
Okay. So
bad girl.
I get that opinion, Kel. What about you, Sarah? I'm very curious.
On or whether women can change their ways.
Well, just people,
men and women both.
Yeah, just if it is, because you hear a lot of people say once a cheater, always a cheater, or
to me, I think you get one fuck up, right? One fuck up, that's it. And I'm not saying like with that one relationship. I'm saying all together. You get one fuck up in your life, and you have to learn how that makes you feel, how that makes your person feel. You have to experience that. You have to feel the shitty part of it. You have to see it. And after that, if you truly give a fuck about people's feelings, you'll never do it again. People who have cheated more than once, you don't give a fuck. You don't give a fuck how it makes your person feel. You don't give a fuck what it does to your relationship. If you have kids, you don't care how that it carries over to your children. You're just an asshole, and I think you should just stop. Stop trying to be in exclusive relationships altogether, and you should actually, in fact, inform every person you date after that. Hey, I'm not a serious person to date. I have zero intentions of being faithful to you. I will fuck around and find out, and as long as you're on board with that, we can continue. That there's, knowing there's a chance that I could fuck around. It would make it so much easier if you just let us know in advance and give us the ability to accept or decline. You'd be surprised. A lot of women might actually be
still get laid. Yeah.
There's a lot of women out there who they don't want strings attached. There you go. I'm sorry. $50 came in from OG. Says turn my audio up, but also save the chat from going into members only. Seconds too late, but I'll grant it. Is my audio sounding low to you guys?
No, you sound great over here.
Yeah.
It sounds average here.
Maybe they just want to hear your voice in a more like loud, domineering fashion with some latex.
OG Snoop just wanted to hear my voice. It's all right. Maybe I'll just talk louder.
I agree with you, Sarah. I actually agree with you. And I think that if we as a society were fucking assholes and we forced people who made more than one of the same mistake in a relationship to get that shit tattooed on their neck, like people would stop doing this shit. You know what I mean? Like, but that's an accountability thing, sweetie.
Well, I also think that I think the more people are informed on the front end, right? If you have any skeletons in the closet, if you prefer to fuck other people, or maybe that you'll never be 110% committed, just let them know, and you can save so much time, headache, heartache, problems, arguments, late night throwing shit, slashing tires. You can save yourself from all of that if you literally tell them up front and say, this is who I am and this is what I can and will do. And then at the very least, if they decide to tag along after that, then they have no right to complain.
informed.
You
Yeah.
can fuck around all you want because you said it up front. I will do this. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And then if it happens and they're like, oh my God, you cheated on me. Nah, bitch. I told you from the get-go. And actually
Yep.
get it in writing. Get it in fucking
Get it in writing.
right? Like to
Maybe
say,
they should just
I
have
will
a
do
card printed route,
Yeah,
just like a
something.
business card. Hey, I'm
Yeah.
a cheater. So just know what you expect what you get.
I wish it would go in their job resumes, bro, because you work that shit into all aspects of your life. I think what you said, like it has a level of apathy if you do
Well,
it like
that's a great point, Kel. I like that. So I actually had when I started dating to actually like get married when I actually gave a shit. I actually had a couple of girls tell me that dating the first couple of dates with me was like a job interview, and I'm like, fuck yeah, it is. Why would it not be?
yeah.
Well, yeah, especially in the beginning too. You want to get all those hard. I think everyone should have all the hard questions right up front on the first date. I don't care how awkward it is, even if you completely disagree and you're like me. I will never date a Democrat if that's the first thing out of your mouth is yes. Like I will ask
That'd be
you,
right.
are you left or right? Where do you stand? And they're like, I'm a Democrat. I'm sorry, we're not aligned. Right off the, I
Right out
already
of the
know
gate,
this.
right?
Yeah.
Like it's not going to work because I
Wow.
know that belief system and I'm not there. We're not on the same page. If you tell me I want more kids, I'm sorry. I've done my duty. I'm done. I don't like if you truly want a child from me, it would take some serious convincing and even at that it's still like a 0.01% chance that I would do that again.
How many
'cause
carrots exactly would be required for such?
No, I agree with what Sarah's saying 100%.
I actually do too. I think Sarah's that's pretty
like-
based.
When I came back into the dating market, something that my brothers had a serious sit down and conversation with me. And when I say serious sit down, like my brothers, like one of them grabbed me, put me in a headlock until I passed out. So it was serious, right? Because they were like, we're not letting you go back out there when you've been hurt. You lost your wife. You have a lot of baggage. You have things. And I'm like, dude, no, I'm good now. Okay. Well, they said, look, all right, when you go out there, you need to understand what it is that you want. Because if you don't understand what it is that you want and what it is that you are, you're going to fuck it all up. So my dad was a good dad. He was. But in amongst that, as dads, we don't always know what we're supposed to tell our kids as far as relationships, as far as meeting guys or girls, whichever, right? Whichever kid we're talking to. And so we don't always give them the best advice. And I think that's something that we've really been lacking. And Sarah touched on this really good earlier with the whole how we represent ourselves and how we represent what it is that we want by picking the right person. Like she's explaining, she has a standard for how she's picking people. And that's perfect. That is how we should be doing things within society. But when we don't have someone who has taught us that, it's kind of hard to hold other people to the standard when we know they may not have been taught that as well. And so I think that we're all going to have to be a little more caring, a little more compassionate when we're talking about long-term relationships. But we're going to have to know what we want and get the other person to talk about what they want. Communication is the key to everything that is going on right now. All of our socio-economic and socio-climate changes, all of the shit that's happening right now, the biggest thing that we all need to do is talk to each other truthfully and honestly more. If we can do that, we can all find what it is that we want way quicker.
Well, and I think one of a really good important question, one that stands out to me that I'm pretty big on. I ask about how's your parents, siblings, your relationship. Do you get to see? And I don't ask it like what's your relationship with your family? I don't ask it like that. I'll ask, do you have siblings? Blah 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 blah. And usually my follow-up question is, do you get to see them a lot? You guys get to do a lot of stuff together? If that's a weird answer, like, it's really rough because my brother's an asshole and my sister's like, if it gets to like they're not uncomfortable, but answering it in a way of like, yeah, my family's fucked up and I don't like to see them or something. To me, that's big red flag number one, because my family is very tight knit, right? Like I love my brothers. I love my mother and my father, my stepmother. I love my step siblings as well. And like if any one of them called, I'd heed the call. We're very like this is our unit, and
Yep.
we're only as strong as our unit. So people who have what I would consider to be a weak unit, that's alignment issue. Like you're not going to fit in because I don't want to be a part of your family who doesn't get along with each other. That's weird to me. You know what I
Right.
mean?
But if
And
they're completely
that's the thing
alienated from
that-
them too, sometimes like they can find a lot of like comfort in like one of like my first exes that had like a really like strong family structure, like modeled that to me in like a way where it was like, okay, like that's aspirational to like something I want someday. So it's not always just a lost cause.
Mhm.
Sometimes it was just like not modeled for them. But yeah, if
Right.
it's always interpersonal like conflicts with the family,
Drama.
Christmases are going to be a nightmare forever.
Yeah.
Like it's not the shit we
And
want for them.
and
Yeah.
I've just done such a like especially with my children going to their dads and all, like we make it a point to get the fuck along. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so to me, that's very vital in any, like, if I'm going to marry you and let's pretend we're going to have a baby and your family's a bunch of fucking drama, oh my God, like, I don't want any part of that. That's not, I don't like that stuff. So that's how I view it, and these are just very, you can ask questions a very specific way that's not invasive, but also getting the information you need to
Mhm.
like figure out if you even want to go on a second date. But definitely no Democrats.
I agree though. That's like you definitely have to have some kind of understanding of what your limits are. Like so when you're dating a guy or a girl and they say like for the girls, right, when you're dating a guy and you hear a guy say, I love my family. I don't agree with everything they say, but if anybody ever messed with them, all they ever had to do was say something to me. All I have to do is know it and I'll be there. I'll be
Mhm.
right by their side. I don't fucking agree with what they say, but I will be by their side because that's something that girls want to know. But there is a threshold. There's some ladies that they don't want to deal with the family that's a Democrat that produces a Republican kid or something to that degree, right? And that's fair. You can't expect people to extend past that metric just because they're willing to accept you doesn't mean they'll accept your family. And that is a big part of relationships. And that's why I say honesty is like that's like the key element that we've gotten away from. People are so used to lying to each other, little white lies,
Mhm.
big ones, all of it.
True.
So we don't get the honest truth from each other all the time. And you have to create these questionnaires, so to speak, to try and figure out what it is
Weed it
that's
out.
going on with someone. Right. And you know
Mhm.
exactly what I'm talking about, Sarah.
Mhm.
You dated, so you know what I'm talking about. I've
Yeah.
had to do the same thing you've had to. And
Yeah,
it
my
sucks.
favorite question is, are you religious? And
Yeah.
and when I get the, well, I mean, yeah, I believe in God, but I'm not practicing. It's like, and then it's a
Mhm.
follow up of if I asked you to go to church with me, would you? And it's like, oh yeah, totally. You know what I mean? But even then, I'm still kind of like teetering on
Mhm.
like like how serious is that? Are you saying you'll go to church with me just because you want to sleep with me Saturday night?
Right.
So we go to church Sunday? You know what I mean? Like that's how I look
Right.
at it.
But that's a good way to look at it because that's a metric that ladies have to take into account. Because let's face it. I mean, I'm a guy. I was in my 20s and 30s at one point, and I know I did some little white lies, man. And I'm not exactly proud of that shit. But who I was and who I am are a little different because I understand things differently now. And I know that's not the best way to do things. You know, being honest is going to produce the best, most optimal result. So if I meet a chick that says, "Hey, would you go to my church?" My answer would be, "Well, what church do you go to? Would it appeal to my religion? Would it appeal to how I believe? You know,
Mhm.
is that something that we can each be in a little bit different? Like if you're Orthodox Christian and I'm Protestant Christian or whatever, you know, could we still align with our beliefs? You know,
Mhm.
would that be something we could each live with? This is the thing, though. Honesty. We've gotten so far away from honesty that we can't even answer the simplest question of like, "Hey,
Well,
do you
in
like red flowers or blue ones?"
in
Mhm.
fairness, we've
Dates.
gotten so far away from actually talking on first, second, and third dates that shit doesn't even come up. I'm actually, I have to ask you, Sarah, are men surprised when you start asking questions like this? Are they like, whoa, this is different?
Not surprised, but I've been told that it was one of the better conversations they've had. They're used to kind of like ditzy ding dong kind of conversations. So
Yep.
I guess that's a compliment. But or even more so, most guys let the girls do all the talking, but I always like to flip it and be the person that's interested in what you have to say. So they usually do the most talking. Psychologically speaking, this is great for you because it makes them think that that was the best conversation they've ever had because they did all the talking about themselves, even though you just had to ask questions, and it gives a positive taste at the end of the day and a very memorable note. Thanks, Carnegie. But overall, I like to poke and prod, and because that's just where I'm at. I'm at that point where I don't have time to like talk about the weather. I mean, I already hate surface level questions to begin with. So if somebody can take like, are you religious? Do you believe in God? If they can take that and turn it into a full blown 30-minute
internet effed, y'all.
intellectual conversation, now I'm even more excited, right? But
Right. And you get to find out more because you're asking the questions, and people feel more comfortable talking about themselves, so they're answering all your questions, talking about stuff, so you find out a lot more. And a good guy, see, and this is the thing, like I've actually dated a couple of chicks like you that'll sit down and have these conversations. They'll ask questions because they really want to know. And I have found that those are some of the best and most engaging conversations I've had with young ladies and older women and mid women and all ages, right? It's the ones that ask me questions too. I will though, after you ask a question, I will definitely ask you something. And half the time you won't expect what it is. I'll ask you something like, what's your favorite stuffed animal? Now you ask side questions.
None.
Like that, and
only weird chicks have
Good.
stuffed animals on their bed.
that's fine. That's fine.
true.
And are
Unless
you
it's
in
your dogs.
Are you in your early 30s, Sarah?
Sure.
Okay, so that would be an appropriate. I don't. Are you early?
Spicy.
Mid?
It got spicy.
Look, I would just say for talking to a lady in her early to mid 30s, I would expect that to be a great answer to the question because you've probably grown up and moved past stuffed animals, right?
And
So
I
I'd
would
be
think,
like,
why
oh,
the fuck is this
cool.
weird ass guy asking me about stuffed animals? He must be a freak.
Right,
I'm
because
not gonna
you're in
lie.
your 20s. You're still in your stuffed
No,
animal
Sarah would
phase.
think that too. Sarah was
You're
nodding
never
along, like,
ashamed
yeah, why is this
No.
guy asking me about my
That's
stuffed
fucking
animals?
weird.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Yes.
It's
We're
not
telling
always
you
that
it's weird.
way because what you don't understand is there's more
I mean, to be
context
quite
than what
frank,
you're
like I would
hearing.
ask a 4-year-old girl, like, what's
What
her
stuffed animal's your favorite?
What's her
Yeah.
You would
favorite?
think so. You would think so, but there's also some that goes into like Sarah. You and I would
Well,
have
you
to
need
sit
to
down
change
and
who
do
you
like a
date
blind
then.
date kind of repertoire for you to get what I'm saying. But you understand there's ways that you talk to people.
No, I think
Make
we
things
get it. I
funny,
just think we're
you know,
just shooting
to
it
make a
down, and now you're
joke
trying
out
to
of
cope
something
see
so
them
that
all.
No,
somebody
he's
can
coping.
understand.
He's
He's
coping.
coping.
It's a
You're
terrible
kind of
question.
making a joke, but you're wanting to understand something about the person.
Right,
You
and
wanna
then
see
he
the
plays it
reaction.
off, and he's like, "I was just
It's not
joking."
about
When
the
you're like,
question.
"That's
Well,
weird."
And this is the part
there's
that
like
chicks miss.
3 different ways this can be perceived, right? In one way, I would take it as like, oh, he's just joking, and I would laugh and be like, the fuck, like, okay,
That would be the
or
right way.
another way would be favorite stuffed animal. Like if I were to win one at the carnival, like which one would I pick? Or is
That
it
would
the
be the
stuffed
inquisitive
animal?
second date way.
Or would it actually be like my favorite stuffed animal at home that I actually have, which breeds even more questions.
Yeah.
And number 3,
Which is what he
the
said.
worst portion of this is I would perceive you as a really weird fucking person. Why are you asking me the
Right.
question you would ask a 4-year-old? You fucking
And
pervert.
that would be the number 3 take on it, which the way that I would say it as in a way that is semi-joking so that you would understand that I'm kind of making a joke, but I want you to
Wait,
engage.
hold
So
on.
if you
No,
come
hold
to
on.
no, hold on, Kel, hold on. This is important because from a guy's point of view, I'm trying to
I
give you
highly
guys' point of view.
recommend you never ask that question ever again.
Cleaner.
The
You
way
literally
that you
said
ask
initially
it
when
doesn't
she
even
said,
matter what question you ask. Sarah, let me ask you, does it
wait,
matter what
Cleaner,
question
let
I
me
ask you? If
Cleaner.
I ask it in a creepy way, is it going to be creepy?
Of course, Cleaner. Listen to me. When Sarah first said what I would
I asked
respond.
Sarah, though.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank
If
you.
you ask
You
a creepy
can
question a
add-
creepy way. Yeah.
Yeah, you can add
ma'am.
emphasis to make things to make anything
Yes.
extra creepy, but that doesn't negate the idea that a question can be creepy
Right.
in and of itself, even if I sat here and said it
I
straight
get that.
faced to you.
Mhm. Yeah,
I
and so
get
Cleaner,
that.
when
So
you
the
said the
question that I asked
question, no, I let
isn't
you.
because
Wait, Cleaner, I let you ask your
you're
question. Now I get to
right.
ask mine.
You're getting too
right?
focused on the question itself and not the
No,
purpose.
Cleaner.
It's a
I
weird
let
question. Don't
ahead.
ever ask it.
Cleaner, I
Go
let
ahead.
you ask
Story.
your question. Let me ask mine, right? So when Sarah first answered you, and she
Sure.
said, when you said, what would you ask about what stuffed animal of yours is your favorite, is the way you asked it. And she
Sure.
goes, that's a fucking weird question. You said, yeah, correct. That's the right answer because you're a woman in your early 30s. Great. And then when she said later, I would just laugh it off as sarcastic. You also said that would be the right answer. So it sounds like a whole lot of cope to me because you said
No.
both ways were the right answer. Yes. So if
Yeah,
someone told you
because
they were
it
weird and
depends
if they
on what you're looking for. The only
It's
wrong
just
answer
fucking
would be
weird.
it's a bad
It's
question.
fucking weird.
Just say it's a bad question,
What
bro.
you're missing isn't the question itself. Okay.
No, I'm not
What
missing
trying to
anything. You
explain
can have
here-
all the context you want. It's a stupid question.
You're still missing the point. The point isn't
No,
the
okay,
question
explain it to me.
itself. The point is what you get back from the woman. All right.
You might
This
not
is
get
what women-
anything back except
get out
for a
what you
girl
put in.
saying,
Hold
"Oh
on.
my god,
Weird.
Listen to what I'm
time.
trying to tell
I
you.
gotta go. My
Yeah.
grandma's calling."
I am dead.
Let me explain to you what I'm trying to explain. It doesn't matter what the question is. You can ask
We
any
get
number
what
of
you're
million
trying to
questions.
explain, you infantilizing little
If-
dipshit.
Yeah,
It's just a bad
we get
question.
it.
I'm not
We get it.
infantilizing a fucking thing. What you're missing, Kel, is that it is the answer that guys are wanting to hear that
No
lets you
other-
know who you
Abe,
are, right?
Abe, Grid, if
if
you
you
guys are in
immediately
the
go
dating
to
market-
number 3, right? If you immediately go to number 3, we're just going to assume that everything that we say from that point forward is going to be number 3, no matter what. But if you go to number 2 and you ask a question like, "Do you mean when I was a kid?" Then that means they're engaging with you. And you
We
can have a
understand there's
conversation.
several ways to
Hold on,
respond to
Kel.
your
If
stupid
they say
question.
number
It's
one,
still a stupid
hold on.
question, you dipshit.
No. Hold on, Kel.
No.
Listen to what I'm saying. I'm trying to give you guys
I hear you.
some
No,
understanding from the guy's
we
point of
hear
view.
you. We
If
understand
you
it.
go,
explain it
"Oh,
more, but
that's
it
a
makes
weird
sense.
fucking question. That's a weird
No,
fucking question."
calm down.
We go, "Okay, that's fair. That's fair." But if you were a kid, what was your favorite stuffed animal when you were? We may come up with something. The thing is, the response that we get to the questions we're asking, because when a man chooses to ask you a question, he's actually choosing to ask you something. And I'm not saying all of them. I wouldn't say all of them. All right.
Let me say it this way. Are you willing to risk the concept of being deemed as a pervert just for purposes of
I
getting
think
the
you're focusing
answer?
too much on the stuffed animal question.
Okay, you have to ask that question first in order to provoke the answer.
This is why I wouldn't
Even
date
though,
either of you, because you're so focused on the stuffed animal part of this question and not
okay, stop.
not
Let's
the
pretend.
actual
Hold on, stop.
conversation, which is
We
around
hear.
any
That's the
question.
point,
Okay.
Cleaner. We hear what you're
One at a
saying.
time.
We understand what you're saying. The point is, though, you have to ask a really stupid question that makes you appear a very specific way before you can even provoke our response. And our response can be like, "I'm never going to talk to that guy again because that was a fucking weird question. Who would ask that?" Right? So
Yeah,
what
sure. I get that.
But you're
I'm
asking,
and you're actually
asking,
explaining
hold
that
on.
you're hyper focusing on the question itself and not what I'm trying to explain, which
Oh
is
my God.
everything around it yet again.
No,
You're
but
actually
oh my
showing,
God.
just like women do, you're hyper focusing on just the question itself. I
No,
could have asked any
that's
question like,
because
"What do you do for work?"
as a
It
panel
doesn't
are
matter the
focusing.
question.
Are you
Us
listening or
guys
just
are looking for
talking just to
something
breathe air?
specific.
Okay. First of all, one at a time. Second, this is a lot of time to spend on questions. But
Oh, you're gonna just sweep for Cleaner. Okay,
Yeah.
just sweep it up.
no, I'm not. It's a lot of time to spend
Oh,
on
I get what he's
questions.
saying.
But it's I would not ask a question like that. But I don't ask a lot of
Yeah, that's what I
honestly,
fucking thought.
Kel, calm down. It's okay. Dial it back. I don't actually ask that many questions myself. I prefer to I want to be asked questions. That Sarah's model is perfect, where it's just, what do you, what am I into? I actually think that if a woman is showing interest, that's a really good sign. Otherwise, I'm just like, probably not a
Mm-hmm.
What about her
a
stuffed
solid
animal?
model. So I guess I don't know. I mean, I kind of understand where cleaner is coming from. I almost said Anson because it's more like an Anson question, but I kind of get where he's coming from. But yeah, I wouldn't ask stupid questions like that either. And I understand the idea. I think what he's trying to convey is you would ask an inquisitive question of, hey, what do you think about this? What was your favorite, what's your favorite type of music, right? And then you could, that becomes a key way down. I tend not to do that because people just give like one word answers and it kills the conversation. I just prefer to have, I mean, obviously I haven't dated in 20 odd years. So, take that for what it's worth. I'm not up on all this modern cool kid stuff. But at any rate, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And I probably wouldn't have asked the stupid stuffed animal question. The reason I asked that is because one of my daughter's stuffed animals sitting right there next to me.
Right. So you
All
say
the
that
damn thing.
you
So
can just say it's wrong.
you know.
You can just say that it was a dumb question.
But this is the thing I'm trying to.
Daughter and girl you're trying to date should not be in the same headspace.
All right, Kel. Listen, this is the thing I'm trying to explain to you, though, is that guys who are actually looking for a relationship are looking for one of a handful of different answers that will engage with them. Okay? They want you to engage with them and them to engage with you. Because guys that want to talk to you may want to know something you're actually thinking, or something that you actually believe in, or something that you actually feel. And so they're going to ask you a question like that to try and get an answer. And if your answer is number 3, where it's like, oh, that's just creepy, the guy's going to go, I'm fucking done, because everything this chick is going to think when I ask her a question is that I'm creepy and I don't want to have a fucking shutdown
That
for the
was
rest of my
fucking
life.
creepy.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Wait,
fair enough.
wait,
Fair enough.
Cleaner,
Whatever.
cleaner,
All right.
cleaner.
Right.
Wait, you can't.
We understand that part of it.
All
Stuff
of them,
around it.
because when you say that you ask questions and you expect well-rounded or well thought out, or also like reciprocating your inquisitive nature from a girl, we're not so stupid that we can't understand what you're saying. We were just saying that's a bad
Apparently
example.
you are, because you hyperfixated on the
can I
fact that I was
finish?
talking about a stuffed animal
Wait, can
instead
I
of what I
finish?
was actually
Can I
talking
finish?
about.
So
But
when
you
I
put
said,
things
so when you
around
finally,
what it was,
right,
because
right,
you
right,
kept
but Cleaner,
interrupting and wouldn't let me tell you what it was I was trying to show you and get you to understand.
no, Cleaner, but I was just trying to explain, because you didn't need to go down that whole long rabbit hole for us to understand what you were talking about. You could have
You're
just
right.
said, yeah, you're right. I shouldn't have just grabbed the fucking first example I saw, because pertaining shit to my daughter, yeah, it might have come off as weird. My bad.
Well,
Let's use
see,
a
that's
different
where like
example.
you
Let's use a
stopping
different
interrupting me
example.
would have been really productive, because if you hadn't interrupted me, I'd have completed my thought. You'd have heard what it is
No.
I was saying, and you'd have understood the question. And what I was saying was actually about the stuff around the question itself, not necessarily what the question's about. I could
We
ask
got
you
what
any
you were saying.
stupid fucking thing, like,
We
what do you
understood what
think
you were
of
saying.
this
We understood what you were
stupid
saying.
little fucking
I think
plague
You
this
wasted,
doctor
no,
doll
Cleaner.
thing,
You
right?
wasted all
Like,
of our
it wouldn't
time.
have-
We
it
understood
really
the
wouldn't have
context.
mattered.
We just
No,
wanted you to concede it was a dumb
you were
point. Yeah.
interrupting, so you couldn't understand what it was I was saying. And this is why I wouldn't date someone like you, because you interrupt all the time. You're disrespectful as hell.
No.
We're on a panel, Cleaner. We're
I
not
get
trying to
that.
date you.
Yeah.
We're not trying to
I
date
get
you.
that.
There's a big
I get
difference.
that.
Here's something that I will throw out there, like it is I will die on this hill. A lot of men on these panels interact with these ladies every once on a blue moon, and you say, well, you should be quiet and listen to me when I talk, and you shouldn't interrupt me, and you should treat me like this, and you should be submissive and seen and not heard, and blah blah blah. I don't fucking know you. I don't respect
Fair.
you. You're not my father. You're not my brother. And you're definitely not a man that I am dating or married to or anything like that. You're just some dude on the internet that wants to be just as a combative asshole, if not more than me, and wants to make a big stink over us saying
Sure.
that's fucking weird. right?
Sure.
That's the
However,
point.
if I took you
All
out
of
to a
these guys
dinner,
out
A
come out
concession gets
here.
you so
Hey,
far.
one at
Sure.
a time, please.
All of these guys come out here at us and well, this is why I would never date. Well, we ain't dating and we ain't ever gonna date. Duh.
Mhm.
Duh, cleaner. No fucking shit. We're not trying to date you. That's why we're acting and engaging the way we are, because we don't give a fuck if you want to fuck us, date us, marry us, call our mamas, whatever. You have no prevailing credentials in our livelihoods and how we interact and engage with you. We don't care. Can all the men understand that? Thank you.
Sure, I don't really give a fuck about any of that. What I was trying to explain is just that whenever a guy is trying to engage with you, all he's trying to do is get you to engage back with him. And if you're engaging in a way that makes him see that you're going to view him as a creepy guy, no matter what he asks, right? You're not going to engage in a humorous conversation or a joke or maybe an intellectual conversation or whatever it is, right?
Hey,
Like
cleaner.
if he's engaging with you in a conversation, he's asking you questions. He
Hey,
wants
hey,
to know
hey,
what you think,
hey,
what it
cleaner.
is that's going on in your head,
Hey,
and
hey,
determine
cleaner.
whether or not you're a match for him, right?
Cleaner.
I'm trying to explain from a guy's point of view
Wait,
what
wait,
we'll
cleaner.
do.
Cleaner.
We
I have a
got it.
question.
You
Wait,
understand
cleaner.
it.
Wait,
All
I have a quick question. I have a quick question.
Kel, go ahead. Go ahead. I don't
Okay,
want you to
cleaner,
burst a
cleaner.
blood vessel or something.
Do you think, cleaner, that you might have been able to make that point without the stuffed animal thing, and that's all we were saying?
Yet again, you're showing why women get hyperfixated on one small detail.
Wait. I just want
I
a yes
don't
or no
understand
question.
this.
I just want a yes or no question,
I really
cleaner. You,
don't.
no, you don't think you could have made
Look,
that point
I'm
without bringing up
okay.
stuffed
Okay.
animal?
I'm
Enough with
trying
the
to
stuffed
talk about
animal
the stuff
thing.
around it, and you're still going on about the stuffed animal, which is
Right. So I'm
fucking.
saying,
Okay.
It
no,
doesn't
wait,
matter.
but cleaner. All I was saying is, do you think you could have made the points around it without, or maybe just conceded that the stuffed animal thing was a
Well,
dumb
obviously,
thing?
you
No,
understand.
no.
Made the
All right,
points
stop.
around it?
Just. We're moving on. This
She's
is dumb.
she's being fair
is
though, Grid.
dumb.
She's actually asking me a fair question, and the reason that I use a stuffed animal was for an example. All right.
Right. So I'm
guys,
just saying, do you think you could have made
hold
the
on,
point
Kel.
without the
Hey,
example?
Hold
Yes
on,
or no?
hold on, Kel.
One-
But you made the
Here's what
point
I-
without the example.
Hold on.
Here's
One
what I
person at a
actually
time,
here's
guys.
what I actually think happened.
Oh, Lord.
I think Cleaner tried to throw a random question in there because he said the only reason I said stuffed animal was because there was my daughter or granddaughter, whichever one, stuffed animal was sitting right here by the table, and when it was received very wrongly in terms of we were all disgusted and the girls did not respond and be like, oh no, it's so cute, and we were like, ew, that's fucking weird. Then he went on the defense mechanism of, well, there's a whole reason and a roundabout bushwhacking way that we're going to get around this question, and you're the dumb one because you didn't understand the point of my question, and blah 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 blah.
I get that.
All it is, Cleaner, is one big fucking cope. We rejected your question. We called you out for being weird for even asking it, and you didn't like that you got called out for being weird for asking it. And now you're sitting here trying to be, like, make us look stupid and be like, you're the dumb one. You don't get
I'm
it.
not
This is
trying
why
to
I
make you
wouldn't
look
date
stupid.
you. But that's what you're doing. You're literally saying you don't understand the meaning behind it when we've sat here and told you 100 times. We get the point. We get it, Cleaner. The point
What is
is,
the
it's
point that I'm
still a
making then?
fucking, like, you're trying to get around the idea of what her response is going to be. And dependent upon her
Yeah.
response to that question is going to determine whether you want to push forward or not later, blah, 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 blah. If she laughs at it and like, oh, that's kind of odd. Like, no, I wouldn't have stuffed animals. Okay, press go. If she's like,
Right.
ew, oh my God, that's so weird. Why would you ask that? Okay, she's a fucking bitch. Press no, right? Like, we get it. But what we're
Yes.
trying to explain to you is you're risking a weird question and the whole concept of you're not going to be perceived as a normal dude after that. You're risking your perception for purposes of harnessing a response, and that's pseudo response too. You're forcing
You're
Shooting
right,
yourself in
Sarah.
the
You're
foot.
being
Shooting
fake.
yourself in the foot.
No,
You're
no, no.
being-
You're 100% right, Sarah.
You're being fake as
Yeah.
fuck in order to push
No,
a
I'm not being
response
fake
from
at all.
Yes, because you
No,
wouldn't
I'm
normally
actually not.
ask a question like that. You normally wouldn't give a fuck whether someone actually has a care for her favorite stuffed animal or not. You're just simply asking a fake question to provoke a response in order to determine how you want to proceed forward. That's fucked up.
No, actually, it's not. That's what women do all the
It
time.
is. I'm
So
going to the bathroom.
all I'm explaining is that
Okay.
I would ask a question, right? So I entered into this
So,
understanding.
so you said that you could make the example without that question, yes?
So
That's
I
all we're
entered into
saying.
this understanding. I want to show
That's all we're saying,
how
bro. You can
the
just say that
different
you
answers
lost.
you get because of the engagement is what matters, right? It doesn't necessarily matter about the
Trainer, take
question.
a
So I
minute.
looked around, found a
Donated
random thing,
$10.
said,
Super
okay, what
chat.
about this?
2
Right?
questions.
I'm not trying to
Talking
date
over
Is
you.
there
the
actually a
TTS.
dating
You can't make the
crisis?
example.
Oh, is there a
2.
TTS
If
going on?
so, what's the solution?
All right, I'm gonna probably re-trigger that, but we'll see. I'll read it, Vibe, then that way, I'm not as cool as the voice that reads it. But two question: one, is there actually a dating crisis? And two, if so, what is the solution? I don't know that there's a solution. Obviously, I think there's a dating crisis, but anyway.
So I was not I wasn't trying to date either of you ladies. I wouldn't give a fuck about dating y'all because y'all aren't my type. But what I was trying to do is show that men are wanting the engagement, right? It's not necessarily so much like the stupid ass thing that we're asking a question about. What
Oh,
we're
so you
trying
could
to
make the
find
point without that
is
example.
are
Thank you for proving my
done
point.
interrupting and being are you done interrupting and being disrespectful, Kel? Yet again, another reason why I would never fucking date you. So
No.
good lord. I pity
All
the
right,
guy.
all right. This is
I've tried to explain this,
yeah.
but
No, I get it. I
We
get both
understand.
sides of this. I get that.
oh my god.
I get both sides of this. On the one hand, they just want you to know that it's
Yeah, they hyperfixated on the stuffed animal, and
Because
what
you
I'm
wouldn't
all
concede.
we're trying
You
to
wouldn't
do
concede,
right
Sully.
now is talk about the greater generality of what it is. And so I tried to show an example of that, and I just
Right.
picked whatever random first fucking thing
Right, but
came up.
Cleaner, I
And
asked you 50
so you're
times.
going
Do you
to
think you could have made
you're
your
going
point without the
but
example?
here's
Do you
the
think
thing.
you could have
Here's
made
the
your
thing.
point without the example?
This
Do you
this
think
is
you could
what
have made your
matters
point
to a
without that
guy.
example?
This is
Do you
what
think you
matters
could have
to a
made your
guy.
point without that
It's no
example?
TTS. I don't
Do you
think.
think you could have
TTS.
made
think-
your point
I'll
without
have
that
to read
example?
this one. Okay.
Like,
I've had enough of that. I don't like going around in circles. Okay. So we all know where we're at. And let me read this TTS and then we'll launch into something else. Thumping Weevil sends $9.99 American, good money. Says, I'm a woman myself, and I can see when some women feel the need to have the last word. Shaking my head, do better, girls. They are not listening. I don't know who we're talking about not listening, but it's a great,
I get what she's saying.
great not a TTS, but a super chat. So I like just kind of moving back to like what was good. I like Sarah that you make a point when you are dating someone or meeting someone a potential person to date. I actually really it has stuck with me that you talked about how you knew within the first few minutes that you guys were not aligned and he didn't have I can't remember if you said backbone or my mind just went to backbone.
Yeah. Yeah. If he
Basically
didn't have a if I perceived based on and you're referring to the most recent, not recent, but the last date that I went on.
that
and
you said anything about.
Yes, I go on dates every night, boys. No, but what he was telling me about his prior relationships, like, oh well, my ex-wife just absolutely hates me, and my ex-girlfriend just absolutely hates me, and we broke up because like she had a kid and the kid would let the dog get on the couch, and I kept telling them to that the dog wasn't allowed on the couch, but they kept letting the dog on the couch, and I'm just thinking like, that's
I'm thinking, my fucking God, I don't know.
weird. That's just, and to me, I look at it, well, if you don't have a backbone, right? Well, and not only that, if you come with a reputation of all of my exes hate me, that's weird. Like my ex-husband and I, we were both at the gym today, actually, ran into each other at the gym, but totally like making fun of each other, poking, having a blast. Everything's fine and dandy. Like we get along like peas and carrots. I have my terrible things to say about what was done during the marriage, but I still find value in him as the father of my child, right? And it is my duty to get along with him for purposes of my child. But for this guy to be like, everyone hates me. Like, I'm like, what the fuck did you do that everyone hates you? That's weird.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucking weird to me. And so to me, I perceive it as if you don't have the backbone to, and all of these women have just trampled all of you, and they view it. No offense to any guy that's ever done this, but you view this as like, I'm the victim. Look at me, I'm a victim. Take care of me. I'm not buying it.
Ugh.
If you're the victim of every story, you are the problem, sir. Because how are you continuing to put yourself in a victim state? Right, to where you're always the victim at everything, that to me is problematic. Like, I purposefully go out of my way and intentionally do things to ensure I avoid being the victim of every story, right? Like, I will go out of my way to ensure my I's are dotted and my T's are crossed. And if you can't even do that yourself, we're not going to align, and I could just take advantage of you and manipulate you all I wanted and make you the victim of my story later. But like, it's not worth it.
All
It's
right.
just a turn off.
Let me read this, and then I want to dive into this a little further. £1.99 from Anakin Skywalker. Back to the kitchen. Make me a sandwich when cleaner. That's
Cleaner did not win anything.
So I don't think there are any winners there. The only winner there was YouTube for keeping me on another few minutes. So Sarah, that's an interesting dynamic, right? And so when I was dating back, when the woolly mammoths roamed and the world was pre-ice age,
and everything was black and white on TV.
Yes, everything was. I'm not saying I met Jesus, but I knew where his address. So, so anyway, back in the dark ages when I was dating, I had a real thing about not talking about my fucking exes when I was dating. And also that seems weird to me. And also I never wanted to, I just didn't like to talk that much, especially on the first few dates, and except to ask, maybe like, what do you do? Who are your friends? That sort of thing. But I preferred the more interview approach, like you did, or you say you were explaining. But the number one thing is I could tell in a few minutes if the woman had a backbone, because I have a very strong personality and I run right over most people, to be honest with you. I just they just don't stand a chance. And so in dating, I found that while I could be attracted to these very soft, feminine, uber feminine, just shrinking violets, in practice, they were missed. They were unfulfilling. They meant nothing to me because I just ran right over them. I didn't value their opinion on anything. I didn't care. They were just not. They weren't for me, right? And so, on the other side of that, it's odd to hear a woman kind of echo that, but I understand why, because you're looking for a strong, a man, a leader, and what you were describing is pussy. Okay, all right. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page, right? Like,
well, and I think all women have all sorts of different strength lines, right? So I would perceive myself to be very strong-willed, very combative, cleaner, very much like
I like to combat. To be fair,
very much I can hold my own ground, right?
Yes,
so
you can.
If I can run you over, then think about another man who's stronger than him. How much more he can run him over. If I can do it, then so can another man. And I don't want to see that happen. And I'm not going to be with a man where another man can run you over. So the shit test is a real thing. But sometimes you don't even have to shit test to figure it out, right? You just open your ears and listen to the weird shit that people say, and you can figure that out real quick. But like, if I can bother you, if I can make you spurg, if I can trip you up, if I can do anything of the sort, then so can a man. And
that's very true.
Yeah, and I don't.
No, I agree 100% with you, Sarah. There's a shit test that goes on either side, and so while it was a bad question, the question was not what I was getting at. It's the fact that you were hyper fixated on the question. Shows one of the things that guys will not want to date a woman for, which is social destruction for one little mistake.
Okay, all right. Well, that's awesome. Let me read this. Although it's from Imperious, I don't know why I read this. This is he says STFU blonde Skeletor. I'm assuming that he means you.
I don't agree with Imperious.
And redhead human urinal. I assume he means Kel. Imperious. I understand you better and better with each super chat because you got to be a very, very special kind of. What's a word I'm looking for here? Cuck. To replace
oh shit.
So what's funny about what all of that just transpired is it reminded me that, like, if a female chicken doesn't have a cock to protect the brood, she will grow a comb and protect her brood. She will become masculine, very masculine, in order to protect it. But there's a danger in this, right? Because then when a male does come, she will attack to kill, regardless of that male, and to the point of giving her own life to fight him, even though he is a male coming into the space. And I think that there's plenty of animals like this, where when there isn't a dominant masculine to protect, to be that position, they'll step into that position and they'll fight off and kill the male of that same species to
Beth was just talking about that. Her rooster died, and so one of the hens became the rooster. And then when she got a new rooster, she went back to being a hen. Because
so there's risks here, right? Because you may push away every single male in a combative way from then forward, unless one can meet a certain standard. But how will you know what that standard is if you can't lower the guard a little? So I don't know.
Are chickens a good comparison to people? Genuine question.
Holy dumbfounded shit!
I hesitate to have you repeat that because I literally didn't hear it, but what was the question?
Are chickens a good comparison to people? Would you guys accept this coming from a liberal argument? He's lost it. I'm sorry. I think the dementia is setting in.
My point was that in nature, like for Sarah, for instance, she's the mother of children.
Yeah, it's almost like fucking animals eat and kill their own. Yes, do all kinds of crazy.
How are you missing this? I'm saying that she has to be a dominant.
But I understand your analogy, bro. Oh my god, you guys are so.
Okay.
I know.
When I reject, every time I reject what you say because it's retarded, you're like, oh, let me explain it. I understand what you're saying. It was just a retarded thing to say.
It was just funny.
It's a discussion. Calm down.
It was literally just a surface level laugh. It just sounded funny as shit, Kel. That's all. I was laughing because it sounded funny as shit, sweetie. That's all. You're muted.
She wants to be muted. She knows if she says anything out loud right now, you're going to freak out and spurg again and tell her she doesn't understand for the 100th time.
Sorry, I didn't go to college. Sorry.
Well,
my bad.
listen, to be fair, sometimes she understands and sometimes she doesn't. And Sarah, even you, sometimes with what I'm saying, you understand what I'm saying, and sometimes you don't. And to be fair, hey, look.
We always understand what you're saying, just most of the time it's retarded. We always understand, just most of the time it's not even worth engaging with. We're trying to move it along because you guys stuck on a retarded point.
How many people can talk at one time?
We can all talk at the same time, make it really fun.
I know, but nobody can hear a damn thing.
Kel, you're kind of doing the social destruction thing I was talking about earlier, and like all I was trying to explain is like I understand, like even guys sometimes we say stupid shit. Like I understand I've probably said some stupid shit, you know, that's fair enough. Like we all say stupid shit and we all laugh at it. But
we just wanted you to admit it was a stupid question. We just wanted you to admit it was a stupid question.
I already said it was a stupid question.
Guys,
like 30 minutes ago. 30 minutes ago, I said it was a stupid question, Kel, and I moved past it.
Yeah,
you hyper fixated.
We're now
on
talking. I mean, you asked about Abe's point about the behavior of the chickens, and it's just a
He's bringing it back to that. He's
It's
I
just a
didn't. You
rhetorical.
I
No,
let that
nobody
go.
brought it back to what? Nothing. No, nobody brought anything back.
I
Abe
don't
literally
care.
was talking about the actions of chickens when a kind of shit testing the male, which is what he was drawing an analogy between what Sarah does shit testing men when she
Yeah.
even
the only
begins
thing
to date them. How do you not understand this analogy?
I just thought it was funny because I asked the question to shit
Just one at
test,
a
and it
time,
was funny.
one at a
That's all.
time. Cleaner,
That's
calm
it.
down. Cleaner.
Can
I
I
get it.
understand the analogy? Just think it's retarded. Is that okay?
I don't think it's a retarded analogy.
You're right.
think
She
she's
shouldn't
just
protect her
saying-
children. You're
I
right. She
think-
shouldn't protect her children.
I
It's
think
not
she's just
Abe's
saying you're
asking a relevant
comparing.
question.
I think she's just saying you're comparing us to chickens, and I think she takes it as a ding that you're comparing us to chickens.
And I
Right.
laughed because it was funny.
Okay, now
That's
this one
it.
will
It
TTF.
was surface level.
OxCatxO donated $10. Super chat. Root of dating crisis. We just really don't get each other. Rolling on the floor laughing emoji.
That is probably fucking accurate. All right, we got another one coming. It's not a TTS though. Another £1.99 from Anakin Skywalker. W cleaner. I don't know that there's any W's here, but I appreciate the £1.99. Thanks for the
Listen,
two quid, mate.
I'm not going for a W here. What this
Yeah,
is
this
about
isn't
is
a
us-
debate.
Yeah, no, this is about us having a conversation. Now, listen, I know I've asked a couple of inflammatory questions. I know I've asked a couple of odd questions. I know I've asked a couple of straightforward questions. All I'm trying to display for people to understand is how the engagement, the questions, the differences between men and women actually matter whenever you're talking to people. It really does fucking matter. What you say, the questions you ask, all of it matters. If you don't have an understanding of what it is that you want when you're going into this, you won't be able to ask the right questions. You'll ask some stupid fucking shit, and you will literally make a fool of yourself. That's it. It's very simple.
Imperious has another winner here. I'm not going to bother it. I'm actually only supposed to read the $10 and
Imperious is coming as fucktarded.
I know he's something else. Anyway, so
Simperious. Gimperious.
yeah, that's right, Simperious. I lost my train of thought. We started like
Sorry about that.
No,
We
I
were
wasn't. I
talking
mean,
about
it was.
cocks.
It is this thing about chickens not being a good analogy when the behavior is what we're talking about. Anyway, yeah, I do think it's a great. I do think it's a great example, actually. Myself,
I think people can poke holes in any analogy you come up with, really, in any question you come up with. Like, I mean, you can ask the most intelligent question ever, and somebody will say, "You're talking down to me."
Well, my
Mike
whole
Paul sends in $9.99. Disregard women, gain currency. Sometimes that works.
I'll just
Sometimes
say
it
that,
works.
like, my whole point was when there is an absence of dominant males, women will step into that role because they must. And until a dominant male can step into that role, that woman will hold that position. And I've seen it my whole
agree.
life.
I agree with you, Abe. And I stand by. I'll give you the actual concept and not the hen and cock analogy.
Thank you.
So I think women can be versatile between masculine and feminine. We can flip as needed. Women are survivors. Okay, this is why we seek resourceful men, strong men, good stock to make babies with. We have a natural instinct for survivor mode. This is also why women become more compliant and quiet around certain people in person. If they think that they could harm them, we get really nice. Why do we do that? Because we know if we're quiet and nice and compliant, we might actually survive some hostile, crazy psycho. Okay.
Smart chicks do.
But anyways, so women, when we are feeling safe and secure, we get to go into our feminine. We get to go into soft and squishy. We get to go into, sure, babe, whatever you want. Okay, we get to be that person because you allow us the space to do it by protecting our space. There's kind of a running joke of man and woman walking down the street together, holding hands. In his mind, it's like playing his voiceover, and it's like, exit strategy here, corner there, person there, potential bad person there, like running all these things. And then the woman, when you go into her head, she's like, singing Backstreet Boys, like, not even paying attention, doesn't know where she's going. She doesn't have to know where she's going. She doesn't have to pay attention because she knows and feels comfortable enough and trusts that he's going to lead her wherever she needs to go. That analogy in and of itself carries over into an actual relationship. If I don't trust that you're going to lead me to the right place, there's not going to be bebopping going on in my head. I'm going to be asking 10 million and one questions because I don't trust where you're taking me. And I haven't developed that ability yet. So that's when we get to go into the feminine role. However, when we're not safe or we don't feel comfortable yet, or we don't trust you yet, we can and will go into that masculine energy mode. We will be in survivor mode. We will be in I'm a tough bitch mode. We will be combative. We don't give a fuck. Like just this way is I'm combative with all of you little shits, right? Because I don't know you. I don't trust you. You're not my man. You don't pay my bills. Who the fuck are you, right?
I'm a big shit. To be fair, I'm a big shit.
But in terms of when I was dating a guy who I felt very safe with and very comfortable with, I could bebop all fucking day long because when I said, oh my God, I have an issue, here's a problem, he would just say, you know what, babe, go sit down, have dinner with the kids. I'll be over and I'll take care of it. And I'm just like, okay. Bzz. Completely flatlined up here. Didn't have to think about anything else. Just went, made dinner, ate with the kids, and he came over.
Sarah, that's a solid point. So that's actually it's funny because one of the reasons that my wife said that she married me was because nobody else has ever made her feel safe. Right, like just nobody, So and I still do, and it freaks her out. To be honest, if I get concerned about something, she just freaks out, because if I'm concerned about something, it's very serious, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think that I don't think that enough men these days understand that they've been told for so long to be in their feelings, to express themselves, to whatever the fuck, and it weakens you as a man. My opinion. I have some data to express that, but it's irrelevant to the conversation. And what you're expressing is exactly what I think is a large chunk of what's missing on the men's side. Is a large number of men do not understand how to make a woman actually, truly, 100% feel safe and okay. Mm-hmm. Right?
That's true.
So I would say that. Now I got to read 999 from Thumping Weevil. Women who can't understand that analogy have never encountered a good man, and it shows. I'm assuming the chicken analogy. We're not getting back into the chicken analogy. We're not. We've moved on.
Not going to get back into it. I would just say that like everybody has a different understanding of things because of how they've lived their life, and so you can't expect everybody to understand every analogy. That's a little unfair.
Yeah.
There's also a version where the man is not going to even try with a combative woman. So
that's
because he doesn't get that, he's going to say, well, she's combative and I may be the right guy for her, but I'm not even going to deal with it. So there's like so many facets to this exact thing.
Yeah.
So,
and you see that a lot with some of the veterans that I know. They if you were combative towards them, they just move away because they know if they go combative, it's nuclear. So
Chef Dylan wanted me to tell Cal. He said, "Tell Smelly Kelly that I want to know what her first real W feels like."
Oh, first real one?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
You did. You took the W on the stuffed animal thing. I give you that.
Right.
Yeah, I'm like, and
wow.
Cleaner, we asked 50 times too before you conceded. Wait,
hyper-fixated
Cleaner, can I speak? I'll let you
Sure.
speak. I know it's ladies first, but I'm sorry.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
But we asked you about 50,000 times if you could make the point without the stuffed animal analogy.
Why are we talking about that?
And you were
The
like,
thing
no,
was,
no, no.
Kel, the first time
Wait,
you asked the question, I said,
you
yeah,
said I could
absolutely. And
Why
then
are
I
we
moved on to
litigating
what I was
this?
trying to explain,
guys.
and you just hyper-focused on it,
Right.
which
You
is the
said-
point I was trying to make, which was guys that want to date a girl aren't looking for a girl that
Can I finish or no?
on the
I'm
one
sorry,
thing that
ladies
he does
first.
wrong
Ladies
and
first.
socially destroy him for that one thing he does wrong. That is something that guys don't want
I'll
to
let you
date
finish.
women
But
for.
that's
All right?
Can I
You guys
ask?
Wait,
are-
let me finish.
Kel, go ahead. Okay, guys, everyone. Kel, go ahead.
Like, holy fuck. Cleaner. Do you remember, sweetie, when I asked you about 50 times if you could make your point without the stuffed animal analogy and you just wouldn't back off? That's all we were asking is if you would just back off. Eventually you did concede. Thank you. But instead
Good
of saying
Lord,
you were
woman.
right. You
The
were right.
first
It was
time you
weird.
asked the question, I answered it and said, yes, I could ask it another way. And then I went on to talk about what the question was actually about, the meat and potatoes of the question, not the question itself, but what it was that guys are looking for when they're asking a question. And you just hyper-fixated on the question itself. You and Sarah hyper-fixate on that. And that's what guys do whenever they're shit testing. Hold on.
Sweetheart,
This is important.
sweetheart,
Oh, no.
sweetheart.
I didn't
Sweetheart,
interrupt
wouldn't
you.
concede,
I didn't
so-
interrupt you. So
That's not true. That's not
no,
true. Yes, you did.
hold on. I
did.
let you ask your question. I didn't interrupt you. All right. What I'm explaining is
Yes, you did. Interrupting cow. Moo. Yes,
guys
you
are
did.
going
Yes, you
into a
did. Yes, you did.
relationship
Yes, you did.
when you're just fucking shit up constantly. Like I'm
Can I
trying to
ask
explain
you a
something so you
question,
can
Cleaner, and
understand it.
maybe this will
When guys,
clear it up a little
wow,
quicker?
both of you, go for it. Yeah, ask your question.
So essentially, the question in of itself put a PDF perverted style things on the conversation.
Yeah, that's the way you want to spin it, and this is why a guy wouldn't date you.
Yeah, no, guys.
Okay,
okay.
I don't really want to spend another 30 minutes on this.
Let me
already
finish my
did.
point, and then I'll leave it alone.
Okay.
But to like, if you're saying if she would forgive you for a mistake or whatever, right? But I would not
No,
forgive.
I'm not asking forgiveness on a mistake. I'm saying
Yo, let her finish.
Hell.
Sure, go for it.
You said if she could like forgive something weird being said or forgive a mistake and so on. You just said this, okay? To test if she's capable of in any event.
Let her finish.
That's okay. But I don't think any person with a brain would want to put any perception of any PDF perverted style stuff like that. So that's what I'm saying. You could definitely get there in another way, but when you put out weird, odd stuff that people would be like, why would you ask such a question that you would ask a child? That I would expect every woman to get ick from that and never want to call you again, especially if she has children or grandchildren, maybe at your age, right? Because that's a weird question. And if you say something like that and then you back it up and be like, oh, well, I was just kidding, yada, yada, yada. That's not something people joke about. And that's why we take that question that you asked very oddly, because in our minds, we're thinking, why on earth would you want to ask a grown woman a question you would ask a little girl per se? And that's why we're saying we understand the concept of what you're trying to do, but that's a really fucked up way to getting to that concept, especially when it has PDF perverted tones to it. Who would want to be perceived like that?
Sure.
And that's all
No, I understand what you're saying. And that's why when Kel first asked me, could I have phrased that in a better way or could I have asked another question? I said, yeah, sure, absolutely. But I'm not trying to go towards the question itself. So the fact that you guys are hyper fixating on something that you perceive is pedo is what I am explaining, guys.
It's not even the pedo part for me. It's just that you wouldn't.
Okay, Kel, come on. I don't really want to spend another 30 minutes on this. Just let him say his piece and don't interrupt him. Right? Like this is. I've had it. I mean, we're not covering any new ground. Right?
Yeah,
This is what I hate.
This
This
is what guys don't want to put up with when they're dating a girl, and this is why I said I will ask a shit test question, just like what Sarah was explaining earlier about asking shit test questions. We ask each other these things, so I'll ask a question whenever I'm trying to get at a bigger meat and potatoes, because we're having a general understanding conversation, not a specific hyper focused on one stupid question conversation. What I'm trying to get at is the meat and potatoes of the social dynamic between men and women, which is that guys will shit test girls and girls will shit test guys. We'll ask each other questions to try and understand each other in a relationship sense to see if we can match up. That's it. That's all I was trying to go for. And I even tried to skip over that,
Wait,
Kel.
Can
when
you
you
pull up
Okay,
the
all right, all right.
Wait,
Lad,
I could ask it a better way, and I went on.
Shut up.
concede
I am
immediately.
making the last point.
I'll send you a clip.
I'm,
You did not
I'm-
concede.
Leave it the fuck
I
alone.
am making the last point. Okay, this is all I want to hear about. This is a deal. Even Beth in the chat said that she wouldn't have thought it was weird. She'd have laughed her ass off. So obviously, not everybody sees it the way you guys see it. Where I think a lot of times we get very sensitized to specific things, looking at it from a because we're in this space, and I honestly don't give a shit anymore. I got a couple of super chats to read. I'm going to read them, and then I'm going to, and then we'll move on back to something away from stuffed animal questions. By the way, my kid loves like all kinds of stuffed animals, so it's cool. Anyway, $1.99 came in from Anakin Skywalker. I am Anakin Skywalker. Actually, that's £1.99. It's more than the $1.99. That's like that's English money. I forget how much it is today. That's probably $3. I don't know. Let's see. And then he had one more. I don't know where it is. Got to scroll. The chat is off the chain tonight. You guys are having good arguments and fights out there too. By the way, Arthur Dia, you can simp for Imperious all you want, but Imperious is just a cuck that says a bunch of shit that I don't care about. So he can, he can hang out, he can be there, he can say shit, but if he's gonna put up weird, nasty shit in super chats, well, I'm not gonna read it because unless he spends over 10, I think it's over 10 to guarantee a read. So there you go.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, go ahead. Another £1.99 from Anakin Skywalker. Kel, please tone down and make me that sandwich. He's apparently very hungry. I'm not sure Kel can make sandwiches. I'm not.
Kel's not a sandwich maker.
I'm not. I mean, you can put that to the test.
Hey, I'll bring the bread, baby. You make the sandwich.
There you go. All right.
Sarah's probably a sandwich maker. She's got kids. She probably makes a good sandwich.
Oh, there used to be
really
this whole thing about making sandwiches, wasn't there? Because I contributed to it once.
Yeah, I did a whole make sandwich stream, and I made sandwiches the entire stream.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
I love sandwiches, and I will not only make you sandwiches, I will send you home with snacks and water bottles and some M&Ms. And I'll pack you some lasagna to have for dinner later. I love to feed people because I love to be fed. Food is love. Love is food.
That was the last. What was the? There was some like not charity, but you were doing some. There was a purpose to the sandwiches. I remember I gave like $20
because it was like a running joke about you should be making sandwiches, yada yada yada. And so I was like, fine, fuck it. If you guys fund a sandwich making stream, yeah, you had funded it. And so I was like, if you fund it, I'll make them. And I did.
Yeah.
I went to
but you went deep in on it, Sarah, and you fucking owned it. You were like, yeah, I'll make a sandwich and it'll have this and this and this. And you went through the metrics of it. And it was like, holy shit, that actually sounds like a good sandwich.
Yeah. Imperious did not make any points in his super chat. I don't understand what are you talking about, Arthur Dia? He didn't make a point. I mean, I can pull the super chat back up. He was just like, making fun of the guess, which is sometimes warranted, and I will let those through. But that was just tired and old. Anyway, so what do you think Kel, you were the youngest here by far. What do you think the hold up to dating is these days?
Unmute.
She probably doesn't want to at this point.
No, women are to blame entirely. They just r/whoosh their way through conversation. They're just out here working instead of bearing children, and basically, I don't know what's going on with the dating market, bro.
Yeah.
What's that? Is that your vibrator?
Sorry.
Oh, I'm
Not mine.
that might hang on.
What, you got a pager over there?
No, I have to monitor. I have to like.
I don't think there is a hold up. Get out there and get pussy, bro. There is no hold up. It's all in your minds. Like the dating market is still alive and well. It's all just if you get hyper fucking like social media'd out, if you get fucking extremized by algorithms and believe every single time you see a TikTok that goes viral, that's like clearly rage bait of a girl being like, I deserve to sit my ass at home while I date a guy who makes $1 million. And the stay-at-home girlfriend core, there's a reason there's so many social commentary and videos made about it, because we all know it's bullshit. There is no fucking dating crisis. Get out there and date, bro. The market is there. The life is long. You are young.
Yeah.
Like,
I think there's
a lot of
I think a lot of people make a lot of excuses or just blame it on, well, the last date I had, she didn't show up, or the last date I had, he like was late or whatever. Like, that's all fine, whatever, move through it, or I got ghosted or whatever. Listen, there's like shitty people out there all over the place, and people have their own reasons why they do things, and it's not for you to worry about. And like, have you ever seen someone sit there and try to break down and analyze why the guy didn't call, or why didn't she show up? Like, it's fucking stupid. Who cares? The point is that I always just like to say they got hit by a bus, they're dead. Like, man, shit happens. That sucks. And I just pretend that they're no longer existent after that. But
Wasted energy, right, Sarah?
it's wasted energy. So essentially, and I'm not going to like hold my grievances from maybe prior bad experiences against the next guy. Of course, it makes you cautious, and you know what you like. Behavioral patterns are a real thing. There's a reason for it. Stay cautious, but don't hold prior people's issues onto the next guy or the next girl, right? Just keep going. And again, if you're not dating with intentions, though, then why are you dating at all?
No, that's a good point. That's two really good points that you make, Sarah, and I agree. If you're not dating with a specific type of intention, like there's really no point, because you're not going to know what it is you're going for, and there's a very low chance that you're actually going to bat 100 or score in whatever way that you're trying to score, whether it's a relationship or whether it's a one night stand or whatever the hell it is, right? I think it's really good. It's a really good interpretation of how it is that things are going right now, because people don't understand there are differences between how we each talk to each other and how we each understand each other. But this goes back to like what we were talking about in the beginning, which is how I was really hoping we would round back out to this, which was where we don't have enough mentors that are teaching us, men teaching men and women teaching women how to be good women, or go for what it is they're wanting in life, or these things like this, and holding each other accountable and whatnot for the things that we're doing that are fucked up or good, because we should definitely tout each other for doing good things, but hold each other accountable for the bad. And I think this is something that we've really ran away from in the social marketplace. And I think, in all honesty, Sarah and Kel and Abe and Grid, I think we've actually shown here over the past couple of hours how men and women misperceive each other in different ways. And granted, all right, what you see is valid, and what we think we're saying or what we think we're seeing is valid as well. Both sides are valid to the person themselves. But what it comes down to is whether or not we can have an honest conversation about things and understand each other and find whether or not we're a match. That's what it comes down to.
Cool.
And if people don't stop being fucking lazy and getting off their lazy fucking asses and getting out there to meet chicks, meet dudes, level the fuck up, chicks, level the fuck up as well. Get out there, meet fucking somebody, or you're just going to be stuck in the same rut in the same cycle forever of never getting to a performance level of what you want to be at.
All right. So while we got a break in that action, let's go with, I got to read some super chats. $2 from Cornholio in the Bungholio. That's awesome. I hear a woman talking, but it's not a kitchen. Just kidding. That's funny. That is actually funny. That was humorous. Let's scroll back up. We had another $2 from Cornholio in the Bungholio. No
The
crisis.
Indian Jesus
Men just
donated
don't-
$10. Super chat. SO to everyone besides Cal. JK.
Oh, that's cold. He says, shout out to everyone besides Kel, JK. That's awesome. Welcome. Thank you, Indian Jesus. I'll get back to that one. No crisis. Men just don't want hyper feminist. Yeah, that's true. I agree with that. Men typically do not. Some men do, though. And I always have to wonder about those men. Is anybody, because I obviously don't know anyone that has, but do you guys know anyone that has actually had or known a dude that dated a hyper feminist?
I don't know.
What
Even in California, I don't know anyone that would self-brand as a hyper feminist. I don't even brand as a feminist. Like, it's not. I don't know any
barely a
feminists.
liberal, Cal. So
I did when I first started dating. It was horrible. But that's what kind of gave me the understanding of like, I need to have a list of some kind that I ask questions of before I go out on a date with somebody, you know? Like,
Sarah, you've not dated a hyper feminist? No. Okay.
Have you, Sarah? Have you dated one of those obnoxiously super masculine type guys that are like, "Oh, I'm Superman, motherfucker"?
I already said in the beginning, like I wouldn't date, or maybe that was earlier, but yeah, no, it's not my
Oh, right.
I like strong men. I like men who take care of themselves. But I don't want like the Hulk.
Right. The narcissist type, weird ass. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, if you send me a selfie from the gym, and especially if you take
100%.
a selfie in the mirror and while you're like in the gym with your shirt all cut up and stuff, like you're already a douchebag. I don't want to date you. Please go away.
Wow.
100% agree.
I don't even have, like my camera roll. I don't have any selfies except for maybe a few scattered through there. And it's usually with me and my kids. And for me, like if like I met a guy at a bar one night and he was cute, a little younger than me, probably a lot more younger than, yeah. Anyways, I think he was like late 20s, early 30s. Totally hot guy, right? Like you could wash your clothes on his stomach. You could fry an egg on his ass, like fucking hot as shit. But the minute we traded numbers, and I think it was like the next day, he started talking to me, wanting to take me out. That's fine. And he kicks it off with a picture of him at the gym. and I was just like, no.
That's weak. That's like no effort.
Well, and I decided, I was like, I'll try one date. Maybe he just thinks this is what women want, right? Like I already knew he was hot. You didn't have to send me a half naked selfie. So I give it one date and I say, hey, I'm going to take the paddle boards out. Do you want to go with me? And, and he's like, yeah, sure. And so we took the boards out. We were out on the water. Great conversation-ish. But one of the things I asked him, I said, what's your longest relationship been? Anybody want to take a guess?
A year or less.
6 months. 2 months.
2 months.
Woo! Fuck that guy.
Months. And I said, okay, because I was like, wait, like, how
Yep.
have you not had at least a 6-month and
You ran from that guy, right?
oh yeah. So
Good girl.
well, of course, we're out on the water paddleboarding, so I couldn't necessarily run
Ew!
away from him, right?
Good girl.
So once, like, that was my last and final date with him. But I mean, I still run into him every now and then. He's still cool, no issues. But I basically told it to him straight, like, I would never want to date you because you've never had a long term relationship. Like, at this age, you should have at least had one.
Right.
But I posed the question. I said, "What's the fastest you've gotten a girl in bed?" Um, and he said it was only a few hours, and the only reason why it took a few hours was because he was leaving the bar and had to go back to his friends, but she wasn't leaving until later, and so he basically just had to wait for her to leave the bar to come over. And to me, I was like,
What the fuck?
yeah. And then they dated for like a couple weeks after that. So like, do you know, like, but again, it starts with the selfie in the gym, and
Yeah.
it was like a self-fulfilling prophecy at that point. But there's kind of behavior patterns again that she knows, but I still gave him the opportunity. But everything I started hearing once we got out on the boards and stuff, I was like, ooh.
Yeah, and even from the get-go, you already had the feeling that, like, this probably wasn't a guy that you would take for a long-term relation or take seriously for a
No, not at
long-term
all.
relationship.
No,
Yeah.
he didn't even take himself seriously.
Yeah.
You know what I
But
mean?
let me ask you though, to be fair though, all right, was he attractive enough that you gave him a chance for that to prove that stereotype in your mind wrong?
Well, no, I think even at that, like, well, number one, an unattractive dude is not going to send me a gym selfie.
Sure. Fair enough. Yeah.
I
Not
mean, you
like-
never know these days. I mean, let's be honest. There's
Well-
some wild dudes out there.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, all right, that's true. There's like,
I-
there's that 5% of
missed
guys
the
that are
super-
fucking delusional.
I missed
Yeah.
the super chat earlier, guys. Give me 1 second. I want to read this. I can't put it back up on the screen because I can't find it. But Thumping Weevil sent in $9.99. Men know what they want. Women know what they want, but they are fighting against each other. I feel that. I feel that.
Yeah.
I think that's true. I think a lot of people don't know what they want.
Well, I think there's probably
But
some
if
men
you
and
want-
women. I think there's probably some men and women that are fighting against each other. And I think reasonably on this panel we've shown that we can agree on some things, we can understand some things within like for example, so Sarah's in a metric where she's dating for a relationship. Guys, she doesn't want some stupid fuckboy right now, right? I'm in the same metric, but we have a little bit different things that we're talking about here that we each focus on, right? And so you're going to see differences. When me and Kel are talking to each other, she's in a different stage. She's looking for something different. So obviously she's going to have. And
What do you think I'm looking for? I don't think we talked about that.
There's going to be differences, right? But it's all based on where we're at in our relationship game. And
Wait,
where
what do you
we're
think
at
I'm looking
in our-
for? I never said that.
I'm not assuming where you're at. I'm
Well,
saying
you just
we're
said
all in-
we're in different stages. So where do you think I'm at? Because maybe I'm looking for.
I
Someone
can 99.9% guarantee that you're in a different place from where I'm at, Kel.
But you said that we're looking for different things based on our conversation. So I guess I'm just wondering where that stems from.
I think he's pointing
Right.
out that he has kids. They're probably nearly grown or grown.
I think he would have
Yeah.
said that if that's what he meant, Grid. But thank you for the
Yeah,
sweet.
see, I have a different metric for what I'm dating for than for what you're dating for. I'm literally
I guarantee you,
dating
Sarah's
for,
looking for different things than you're looking for as well.
right. I understand that. That's what I'm talking about. We have different things we're dating for. Okay,
But you
like,
looked you guys in
there's-
together at first.
Okay, so and hey, you know what? I'll give you chicks. I'll give you chicks an understanding. Any woman that ever watches this in the future will have an understanding of something. Okay, there's guys in their 40s that are single. I'm not saying they're good or bad, but like wherever they're at, all right, they'll have an understanding of if there's a girl in her 20s who checks every fucking box and she wants to have 15 kids, we will give that girl every kid she wants because she is fucking awesome. But if there's a woman in her 40s and we've already had kids and we've done our social duty, we've tried to do everything we can in life and all that, we won't necessarily want to have kids with someone that's in their 40s because we're like, no, man, I'm done with that. But that girl in her 20s gives you the energy to help with those kids, to do things with those kids, to provide in a way that she fucking needs you to.
Right, but you lumped Sarah and you in together. But Sarah, Sarah already said she wouldn't have kids.
Right. What I'm explaining is we each have different metrics, Kel. And
you would have said we each versus you and Sarah versus you and Sarah versus me.
Even me and Sarah have different metrics.
That's what I was saying. That's all I was saying. Thank you.
Okay. It's
I'm
like
just
you guys
saying,
talk past each other on
you just
purpose.
assume something. And I know that we all have different metrics because everyone has different metrics.
I think she's asking what your point is.
Yeah.
My point was that if we're not communicating these, and I was trying to get to that, but she kept fucking interrupting me like she always does.
I don't know. You took like 3 whole minutes to get there.
When we're it wouldn't have been that long. It would have actually been like a minute, and then that's done.
Okay. Anyway, so I got $5 from Kissy Cat. I think we lost the plot. Well, I keep trying to steer us back to the plot, but we keep getting bogged down in this nonsense about stuffed animals and stupid shit. Anyway. Man.
Well, what Sarah was saying, Grit, is fair. We do all have like when she was talking about this guy that was kind of like and Sarah, I may be a little off. He may not have been completely a fuckboy, right? But like, I mean, he was definitely a little more narcissistic than what you would have liked, right? Fair?
I guess. I mean,
the gym guy.
Yeah, I mean, the idea of him sending the picture just gave me the idea of what I could potentially be dealing with. It was kind of a behavioral pattern. But then it was more along the lines of engaging to prod out those questions when I was like, yeah, we're not aligned.
Yes. And this is the only thing I've been trying to talk about this whole time is that men and women have different things. They see things from different points of view. If we can understand each other and talk to each other in an honest way, we will get the answers that we're all wanting so that we can figure out whether or not it is that we're a fucking match. If we're not, we're not. If we are, we are. But you know what? If we were all fucking honest with each other, I guarantee you right now, the dating market would go so much faster. Like if people were just blatantly honest with each other and they just asked, like we just had this list of questions, like, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I have to provide. This is who I am. This is what I'm looking for in a girl or a guy. And we gave each other this questionnaire and we each looked at the questionnaire and went, okay, well, I've got that. I've got that. I don't have that. That kind of sucks. I've got that. And then the other person gets it back and we go, okay, well, within the understanding that like nobody's going to be perfect, we'll probably have like that 1 or 2 things we disagree on. You know, is this something that I could live with? Is it yes or no? If it's not, hey, we both move on and we find somebody else. But if it is, great. We go date, we do things, we see if we match up chemistry wise, right? We could get past that whether or not we can achieve a living matrix with each other, like whether or not we could actually live with each other. And granted, I know this is from an older guy's point of view because I'm in my 40s, guys. I get that. All right. When I was in my 20s, I was a dumbass too. But if we know this stuff honestly with each other, we can actually figure out whether or not we're compatible with somebody. Am I wrong, Sarah?
Do you always like to blow hot air out, or is this just a thing?
No, this is like we're talking about something. See,
well, what you're saying is very surface level conversation. Like we get it. Everybody wants something different, and finding people that link up, and even the ability to understand others can be difficult. We have two ears and one mouth for a reason. Listen more. So on and so forth. It's all basic.
Right, and that's
concepts.
True. Yeah. And you can say things to attack me whenever I'm trying to explain this understanding.
I'm not a host or a moderator tonight. I am here to have some fucking fun and push everybody.
Have you had fun, Sarah?
Push everyone out.
Sarah, have you had fun?
I'll leave that answer to my chat. The chat will let me know if they have had fun yet.
Sarah, listen, you're a sweetheart, and I always love engaging with you. I don't give a shit if we argue with each other, if we go tit for tat, if you get a win or a loss,
no, you didn't go
I get a win or a loss.
Hold on,
Kel. Hold on, Kel. All right. I don't give a shit either way because I do actually enjoy having conversations with you. You're a nice lady to have conversations with, okay? But the fact of the matter is, like, we're having a general conversation, general understanding of like dating and all that shit. And within the understanding of dating, if people were to stop fucking lying to each other all the time and just tell each other the truth,
Oh my
you
God, dude,
think-
you don't need to repeat the point. She understood what you said. She just said it was surface level.
Oh
and
lordy mercy!
Yeah, we
You
talked
can't
about that
stop being
earlier
different
too.
constantly.
like you're just like reiterating the most basic points. Like, okay,
This
great
is
contributions,
absolutely
bro.
fine.
Hello.
Okay. All right, guys.
You're such an easy target cleaner. Like you're doing it to yourself. Why?
Well, I'm not trying to be combative tonight. I was
It's not even
envisioning this knowing it was just
combative.
a
It's just like
conversation. We
how
were
much
just
more
gonna sit here and have
dumb
a
shit can you
conversation.
say in one night?
So I'm not trying to fucking argue with you. Well, I mean, to be fair, from like guys' point of view, you said a lot of really fucking dumb shit too.
Oh, did I anger all the men? Oh,
I don't know. Maybe not. I'm not really sure. We all say dumb shit though.
but at
And
least
this
I'm
is
not
the problem. It's like
repeating literally the same
you're
dumb
still trying
shit
to do like
again
an
and
attack
again and again
versus
and
defense
again and
thing.
again and again. We've like
Sure.
knocked out all these points at the very beginning of this whole conversation.
Yeah,
and it's
sure.
moved to
And you're
something
still trying to
greater.
do like an attack and defense thing, and I'm
Listen-
not trying to do an attack and defense thing against anybody. I'm just trying to have a conversation.
Wait a minute.
But
I'm
you guys
pretty
are
sure
trying to
earlier
engage.
you started off
You
by
guys are
saying
trying
that
to
we were
engage.
One at a
stupid and we don't
time.
understand anything and
You guys
we're
are trying to engage in a
too
social
low level.
destruction dynamic.
Well,
which
listen,
I'm
this
not
is
gonna
what
put up
happens
with.
when you start
Like,
shit
if
with women.
gonna
We
socially
fucking
destructive.
finish it.
Stupid,
Socially
I'm gonna
We
destructive.
fucking finish it. Socially destructive.
like hell asking the same fucking question over and over and over after I already answered in the beginning. I mean, you can keep going back to shit and trying to create drama and all
Okay. All
Come
right.
on.
So
Like
first
I said,
of all,
easy target.
I gotta read this super chat from $2 from only a Mr. Bill. He advises Cleaner to quit acting like an overly emotional woman.
Retweet.
I think you guys are. I think only Mr. Bill is actually older than both of us, so that may be.
Abe,
That
what do you
might
think
be-
about all this? Abe?
Hold on, I'm not done. £1.99 comes in from Anakin Skywalker here. Raging Tomato, are you free on Saturday? I don't know. You guys can work that out behind the scenes. I don't want to get involved in it. All right. So, Abe, where are you at on all this?
I think my brain might be mush coming out of my ears. I don't know.
Okay. Fair enough. Well, guys, it's almost 11 o'clock, which, as everyone who knows me knows, I ended 11 o'clock. And so we want to get some final thoughts from my lovely panelists. All of you are lovely, even the men. You're great people. You're wonderful. But you're going to have to get the fuck out of here really soon. So I want to actually start with Cleaner and come back, and I'll have the last.
Ladies
we'll
first.
go back and forth, so I'll have last word. So
I mean,
go ahead, Cleaner. Give us your closing comments, your remarks, your thoughts, whatever.
Yeah, I think men and women just need to come to terms with what it is that they are first, and then decide what it is that they want in a relationship. The whole thing where the social elite or the shadow elite has created all this crap that is literally putting people against people is an evil dynamic, and us feeding into it is doing nothing but creating an environment where we are not united. The more that we are fighting each other, the more that we are resisting trying to get with each other in relationships or within life, even just in general, the more it is that they're winning. The only game theory that wins is the game theory where we all cooperate in some way that produces a positive result for all of us. And that's pretty much it.
All right. Kel, final thoughts.
I think that in this social economic climate that we live in, I think that it would be great if we all tried to understand each other. It seems like, unfortunately, we do have a bit of an effort epidemic. We also do seem to have maybe it's not that men and women don't understand each other. It's that the people who are already indignant and didn't make an effort to understand other people in the first place feel justified in their beliefs because we have this crazy social media ecosystem feeding their beliefs that women are evil or men are evil and just kind of like feeding into their indignant lack of ability to date in general. So maybe just get out there, do the damn thing, stop feeling sorry for yourself, and yeah, there's plenty of fucking pussy to get. Boys, get out there.
All right. Abe.
I don't know. I think that I kind of agree with we need to freaking cooperate more, understand each other more, converse more, go to church, do better, be better.
Brave take.
It's just
That's solid. I like that. I like that. Okay. Sarah.
Thank you so much, Grid, for having me. I told my viewers tonight early on that I was going to come over here and troll and trigger and have some fun, and that we fucking did. And it was such an honor, Grid, to not have to be the host and to sit here and watch you get the headache all night and not me. It was such a pleasure.
That's filter ass
Okay.
answer.
But seriously though, Grid, thank you for putting this together, and what a fun topic and conversation. I think overall people just need to stop repeating the same crappy things and getting the same crappy results. Work on yourself, respect yourself, and if you're gonna date with intentions. If you're not dating with intentions, the rest is all hogwash and it doesn't mean anything, and that's why you are failing. Thank you.
All right. Well, I guess I'll finish this out with I actually had a lot of fun tonight. I didn't really get a headache, Sarah. I actually kind of thrive on the chaos a little bit. I don't like to let that out much, but as my only real thing is that when everybody starts talking, I can't hear what everybody's saying. So I just want y'all to shut the fuck up and one at a time. I'll let you talk all night. Well, not all night, till 11, and then it's bedtime for me. I have responsibilities and things I have to get taken care of. But at any rate, while I'm sure we didn't move the needle in any direction, I'm glad that we had the conversation. I'm glad that you were here, Sarah. I'm glad that Kel was here, Cleaner, Abe, and we can't leave Kissy Cat out. Kissy Cat is the motivation for all of this. I don't normally do panels like this, but maybe I should make this a weekly thing because it was a lot of fun. And I know that Sarah, you don't get enough goof off time, and maybe we'll have you back and let you goof off some more. I have
Grid's like, I'm never bringing her back again.
and actually, just so you know, I'm just going to raid everybody over to you so you can continue the party. Okay. And you can go all night if you want, but not me. So, and the last thing I'm going to say is, I really want to have I really wanted to have Mr. Justin on. I was going to open the panel with an hour to go, but the conversation just seemed to keep revolving, and it never straightened back out. So I want to have Mr. Justin on at some point in the future and get his input. And so I'll be in touch, Mr. Justin. In the meantime, as always, guys, it was a great night, and I don't think we learned anything, but we didn't lose brain cells either. You guys have a great rest of your night. Be cool, wait, Oh, somebody subscribed. I was like, surely nobody sent a super chat on the way out.
Now I'm going to send one just to piss you off.
I know, right?